average family here. You can keep your number and keep your phone or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. Or if you want unlimited data, you can still save a fortune. With U.S.-based customer service, Pure Talk treats their customers right. Plus, they have a 30-day risk-free guarantee, so you literally have nothing to lose. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
Mucinex DM's bilayer tablet allows for immediate and extended release, relieving both wet and dry coughs and loosening chest congestion for 12 long hours. Grab Mucinex DM, available at Walgreens.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
Wait a minute, he struck him up.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Look who's here with us, everybody. Fooled you. Little prankster. Kev Nash with us today after telling us he was going to be gone for the week. But he's like, man, I just can't get enough of, because he's worried that he's going to fall behind in the sports knowledge department. And he's like, I can't spend a day without listening to Kinner educate me on sports. And I'm like, don't worry, Kev, come on back in. I'll take care of you. I'll make sure that you are all, sports knowledged up by the end of the day. So there you go. It's Michigan week. We get another day of talking smack. Actually, I don't want today. I got all my smack talk in yesterday. It is what it is. All right. So it's one thing when you have your bosses telling you, can you take it easy on people? Can you stop getting into it? But when your own mom says, hey, can you cool it a little bit? Like, can you bring it down a few notches? I got to listen. So I'm going to do my best. So here's what I actually really want. I keep hearing that this year's different, that this year's Michigan team is different. And the reason I don't believe that is because we hear the same thing every year. And rather than do the whole, I know more than you, I feel like I do. But it is what it is. And you guys feel like you know more than me. And that's what sports talk is fun, because everyone feels like the smartest one in the room. But it is what it is. But I really want to know, this is an opportunity where Michigan fans can call into the show and say, hey, I actually believe we have a shot this year. And rather than us make fun of you, like yesterday, though, that Michigan fan started it. Let's just be clear. He said I was ignorant, and that's why they were going to win, and then he hung up. I'm like, see, that's pretty stupid right there. Like, if you're going to call in and say confidently that your team's going to win, at least give a reason why without the name calling. And my rule is, you talk to me dumb, I'm going to talk to you dumb. That's how my rule is. Like, no, I don't believe in the whole the customer's always right, that the customer could talk to you however they want and you got to be nice back. That's not how Kinner operates. If that leads to the demise of Kinner, then so be it. And it's a win for you. But the bottom line is this, is, okay, you feel confident about your team's ability to beat Ohio State this year. The question I have is why? And tell us why. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've watched every single Michigan game. I'm not a Wolverine aficionado. I watch a ton of college football. I channel surf like crazy. In fact, Nora can't watch the games with me or TV with me because I get very antsy. I'll put a show on, commercial break, I'm flipping through to the next thing. Like, she loves the commercial break because that's our time to talk. I'm like, no. Shh. The game's on. Because it's commercial break. No, the other game. So I channel a lot, but I don't have it locked into Michigan football every single Saturday. So the phone 518-1410, Michigan fans, this is an opportunity to call in without the crap throwing and all that stuff. Kinner's going to cool it down today. He's going to bring it down a notch. Okay. So 518 1410 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Unless you're Shaw, by the way. If Shaw's calling, I'm just saying. I can only be nice for so long. But no, in all seriousness, 518-1410, 518-1410. Michigan fans, the big question I have is, why do you feel different this year? Why is this year your opportunity? Now, I bring that up because I keep hearing so much about this Ohio State or this Michigan defense. They have the number 7 defense. They have the number 7 scoring defense in the country. Okay, and I think it was Tennessee Jeff who shared this earlier today that kind of caught my attention. The stat that Michigan fans keep throwing around is that they have the number 7 scoring defense in the country. Well, it's interesting because when you look at the high-powered offenses that they have faced, the highest rated offense that they have faced this year is the number 40 offense in Michigan State. The best offense that Michigan has played this year is ranked number 40 in the country, and that's Michigan State. And Ohio State just pummeled them. So it is what it is. It is what it is, but that's the reality of it. And this is why I've always said I don't believe, I hate when we start getting into my team is ranked this in scoring defense and blah, 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 or my team's the number 1 in scoring offense. Like, I think when you watch Ohio State, you know that they're good offensively. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I can't watch a team defensively and tell if they're good defensively or not, because sometimes your defense is propped up by a not so great offense that you're going up against. And I think that if you combine the stat I saw today, if you combine the rankings of all the teams that Michigan has played this year from an offensive power standpoint, they average out to about 83. They average out to 83. They haven't played a high-powered offense, but to be fair, there's not a whole lot of offenses like Ohio State.
Right. There's
only one Ohio State offense. There's only one Alabama offense. And then after that, I do think I think there could be some second and third tiers of offense. But what Michigan has not faced is anything like what they're about to go up against with Ohio State. Was it 2 years ago? They had the number 1 defense, Michigan did. And that year was a year that was a little concerned.
No, that was Wisconsin.
No, it was the Michigan-Ohio State game a couple of years ago where Michigan had the number 3 defense or the number 1 defense or whatever it was. And
and they ran the crossing routes and Chris Olave's freshman year where he scored 2 touchdowns and blocked a punt.
Oh, yeah. They just annihilated them. So that's why, if you're going to say, okay, I feel confident because of that, I don't buy that at times. Now, I wouldn't buy it on Ohio State. Ohio State is bad defensively. They're not the worst defensive team in the country according to the stats, but I don't care if you are ranked 150 or if you're ranked 200th. The bottom line is Ohio State's defense is really what's going to make them vulnerable when it's all said and done. But Kev, Michigan this year, why do you believe that they have a shot, or do you believe they have a shot?
I do believe they have a shot. They've changed up their defense. They don't run strictly man-to-man concepts on the back end anymore, so they won't be able to get pick played as easily as they've done before. They got not 1 but 2 dudes that's going to be playing in NFL on the defensive line, and that's where a lot of football games are won at, in the trenches and everything like that. They got good edge rushers, so they do have a chance. And some of the things that they were able to do against Michigan State, I don't know his name. He's wearing the vaunted number 1 for the wide receivers at Michigan and everything like that. Braylon Edwards wore Anthony Carter wore it way back in the day. So when you wear the number 1 as a wide receiver, you're supposed to be a dog. Don't know how a freshman got to wear the number 1, but that's another story for another day. He's pretty good, though. He is pretty good. I'll say that. So they had explosive plays. And in years past, they really haven't had explosive playmakers on the outside. So they do have a couple of those, and they do have dudes along the defensive line that can get after the quarterback. And, sometimes Coach Day, he's a former quarterback. He gets a little pass happy. He likes to pass. He's a former quarterback. He likes to put up the ball in the air. He likes to take shots downfield. And when you do that, you do expose your quarterback to possibly getting hit from behind, hanging onto the ball like C.J. Stroud did in that game versus Nebraska that we all talked about, everything like that. So there is a chance that we could lose this game because I do believe Michigan plays pretty solid defense.
Cornelius Johnson, you have Hassan Haskins, you have Cade McNamara again, the 3 big names to look up between quarterback, running back, wide receiver when it comes to that team up north. Again, they're hoping that their offense is it's not the most explosive offense out there, but it is balanced. They have a decent run game. They have some weapons in the wide receiver. Quarterback play has been a little bit more stable this year than what it has been in years past, and that's always been amazing to people. You look at Harbaugh, who's supposed to be this quarterback whisperer, how the constant struggles at Michigan has always been quarterback, or at least a guy that's going to be able to take him to that next level. That's something in Harbaugh's whole tenure at Michigan he has yet to find is the guy to lead them at quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy because obviously, you had Andrew Luck at Stanford and everything like that. My question, and I can't really time it up right, when he got to Stanford, was
Luck there
already? Because he came from, I want to say, San Diego State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Luck was already a redshirt freshman when he showed up. So technically he didn't recruit him, if I'm not mistaken. The guys that he has recruited at Michigan, they haven't panned out. They end up transferring. I know they end up getting the transfer from Ole Miss. Patterson came there, was aight for them and everything like that, but nothing great. But you know what? The guy that they got there now, I know he's not flashing everything like that. He's not putting up crazy numbers like, CJ Stroud and everything like that. But last time they had a quarterback that was worth anything, wasn't putting up crazy numbers like that. He was a efficient quarterback. He wasn't turning the ball over. And, I know they have this thing now because they have a hot shot freshman behind him and that everybody wants to see him because he's super athletic and yada, yada, yada. But the guy that's getting the dubs and moving the chains is McNamara. So if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm hoping they don't pull what they pulled against Michigan State and start flip-flopping quarterbacks for no reason at all. And then, we flip-flop quarterbacks and, we brought in a freshman off the bench and he fumbled. Keeping the guy that got you down there in the red zone. Like, these are simple things, man. Look, man, Harbaugh knows way more about football than I ever will. But I've never, and will never be a fan of the flip-flopping of the quarterback thing. I wasn't a fan of it when we did it with J.T. Barrett and Cardale Jones. I always thought it was stupid that Urban Meyer did it with Chris Leak and Tebow. Granted, Tebow had a package for short yardage, so I guess that was okay. I wasn't a fan of it back when they did it down in Florida with Steve Spurrier and Danny Warfel and all those guys flip-flopping quarterbacks. Pick a dude, stick with a dude. If he ain't no good, pull him. Don't just like, all right, this is your series. Now this is your series. All right, you go in for third down. You go in for first down. You never get a rhythm that way. It never works. It never will work. Stop doing it.
And that's why I give Ryan Day a ton of credit, because if there's a coach out there who could be easily tempted to do it, it's probably a guy that has a QB room full of 4 and 5 stars just sitting there licking their chops waiting to get an opportunity out there. What I love that Ryan Day did this year is that he didn't sit back and say, oh, man, I got pressure now with Quinn Ewers enrolling early. We'd probably, to keep him happy, man, look, there's so much pressure on us to make it work with it. Ryan Day's like, if it works out with him, it works out. If it doesn't, we got a whole other, we have a whole room full of talented guys that can get the job done. But yes, the one thing I like about Ryan Day, he has so many options he can go to and draw up different packages, and it's CJ Stroud's team. CJ Stroud didn't see the field last year, even because it was Justin Fields' team. It wasn't, all right, we're going to have Justin Fields do this, but we're going to, have some, plays drawn up and schemes drawn up to bring Stroud in to kind of get him acclimated out there. No, it's, you're the starting quarterback at the Ohio State. You are the starting quarterback. And I'm not sure what was going on in that Michigan State game. But yes, I wouldn't anticipate something like that against Ohio State. But at the same time, he's going to.
But they've been doing it all season.
He's going to pull out all the stops to give himself a chance here to beat the Ohio State. But the reason I asked is mainly just because I've been thinking about it all day. I'm following social media. Everyone is so adamant. This year's different. Michigan's different. I heard that a couple years ago when they had the number 1 ranked defense in the country, and everyone said they were going to shut down Ohio State's high-powered offense, and it didn't happen. That was the Dwayne Haskins year, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't happen. So as we currently sit here right now, what makes this Michigan team special, that with Ohio State having the number 1 offense in the country, that all momentum is going in their direction, most likely going to be number 2 tonight. Now, to be fair, Michigan fans, I'm not beating up on you too much today. I actually believe Michigan will be number 4, and I think that they should be number 4. I believe tonight's rankings, when they come out, it'll be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, and Michigan 4. Now, you can have your reasons for why you believe that. Some will believe that that's just being done to prop up Ohio State, and possibly so. I can't tell you that that's not the case, but it's not as if Michigan technically doesn't deserve it. I mean, they even looked the game that they lost to Michigan State, Kev, for the majority of that game, they look like the better team.
Yes.
That doesn't happen in football too often, where the team that appears to be playing better actually loses. Like, that doesn't really happen. That's a soccer thing. Soccer is a team that is playing, the better team sometimes doesn't win in soccer. That's a soccer thing. It was weird what had happened in that Michigan State game. Now, again, they made enough mistakes to lose, so that's on them. But overall, I thought they looked like the better team. So we should maybe expect more of a fight than what Michigan State gave to a certain extent. I think Michigan's more balanced offensively as far as that's concerned. I think that's one reason. Now, we're going to get to the phone calls, 518-1410. I'm not into the whole, I got my trash talk out yesterday. No Michigan, Ohio State crap throwing, at least for the first hour. 518-1410, Michigan fans, in all seriousness, why do you believe your team has a shot this year? Why can they win this year? That's what I want to know. The Facebook feed, Eric Myers, Kev, he says, heads up, Michigan will beat Ohio State on Saturday. Eric, unless you've commented underneath, I haven't seen an explanation.
Cap.
Explain. Yeah, what Kev said, cap.
Big cap.
You can't just say cap. It's cap. Like, say it with your chest, right? Like, you got to say it with confidence. I don't know what I'm saying when I say it, but what Kev said. I still haven't figured out the usage of cap yet, but I'll figure it out. Michael Maxwell, shout out to Michael Maxwell. He says Ohio State is going to dominate. Again, why? I want to why. This is
we're the
like,
Buckeyes.
Oh man, I remember being in high school. Teachers would ask you a question, you give them the answer. They want you want the extended response. I couldn't stand that. That's what I want. I'm going to pretend to be a teacher. I want extended response answers. I don't want to know the final answer. I want to know how you got to that final answer. But 518-1410, Chris Cunningham says Ohio State will have to play a bad game to lose, turnovers, penalties, injuries, etc. Now that's what I like. Chris provided a little bit more of an explanation. He says, look, Ohio State, they're going to have to play a bad game to lose. He believes that, hey, if they lose, it's going to be because they defeat themselves. They're not disciplined. They're going to turn the ball over. They're going to commit some penalties, maybe some key injuries at times to slow down some momentum. I think that's a fair assessment, and I think that the only thing that could potentially stop Ohio State's offense this year is probably injuries, and I don't think anyone wants that, at least Buckeye fans for sure do not want that. Okay, Eric Meyer says Michigan will control the line of scrimmage, control time of possession, keep the ball out of Stroud's hand, body punches. Boom. Perfect. That's what I wanted today. Good stuff. That's how you probably do handle an Ohio State offense. Keep them off the field. Control the clock. Yes, you would like, if an opportunity to score, Kev, Michigan, you take it. You score. But at the same time, try to eat some clock. Limit how many times you give the ball to Stroud. Don't turn the ball over. Try to limit how many 3-and-outs you have. That's really like, I like the analogy, the boxing analogy, body blows. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's going to be like that damn, what was the big boxing match we just watched? So good, apparently. I can't even think of their name.
Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3.
Right? It was boring as hell. It was just two men for 12 rounds hugging each other. I mean, that's really all it was. My goodness. Actually, it was a pretty damn good fight. But for the majority of it, they're just hugging and dancing one another. That's what Michigan's going to have to do.
Down.
Michigan's going to have to do that to Ohio State. They're going to have to hug, going to have to slow dance, they have to make it boring. But
make it last forever.
They have to do what they got to do. All right, Kev, 518-1410, who we got?
We got Matt on line 2.
Matt on line 2. Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Hey, you guys are actually firing on all cylinders today. I mean, you're pretty spot on. I am a diehard Michigan fan. I'll give you a rundown real quick, but I'm a realist. I mean, I don't understand how Michigan fans can sit here and be like, oh, they're going to win. They're going to win. I mean, come on, how? Until you beat them. I mean, I'm going to pick up my daughter right now. She's 10 in the 5th grade, and she's never seen Michigan beat Ohio State. I mean, we got to show up on Saturday. The way we win is, you were just saying, we got to control the clock. We got to run the ball. Lean on the defense all game. Hopefully force a turnover or two. You almost got to play a perfect game. In Ohio State, they're going to have to shoot themselves in the foot once, maybe twice. Where I'm confident is we don't have the playmakers outside like Ohio State does. But each and every week this year, I mean, I know, like you said, you don't sit and watch Michigan football. But every week somebody else has stepped up. Against Penn State, that kid at tight end, he stepped up. Against Indiana and a struggle in the first half, Haskins went off, ran for almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Every week. And we have something this year that we haven't had in a long time since Jake Rudock is a quarterback with poise. If he does throw a pick or make a bad play, like in that Penn State game, we were down, actually. We were down, and we came back to win. And that's a game Harbaugh normally finds a way to lose, and I think we would all agree with that.
Let's say I am curious, Matt. Let's say Ohio State and Michigan. It's a close game in the fourth quarter. How does Michigan respond there? Because, Harbaugh, you just mentioned, you talked about Harbaugh and Michigan in those tight games. They don't always come out. I mean, they lost that Michigan State game. You did talk about the Penn State game. But for one, it's a win if it's close in the fourth quarter. And this isn't a shot at Michigan. It's any team that can be within a punch of Ohio State in the fourth quarter. That's not arrogant Buckeye fan talking.
That's absolutely right.
But how does Michigan respond then? Do they clamp up? I mean, what are they like in these high pressured situations? Do you feel your team will respond if they find a way to make it within a puncher's shot in the fourth quarter?
I think this year we will respond. And I only say that because, again, being a diehard Michigan fan, that here is just the worst. But what I'm trying to say is we wanted the culture to change. I mean, that's been the difference in Michigan football to me over all these years, is the culture. Ohio State lives and breathes beating our rear ends, and we all know it. Michigan, it seems like over all these years, it's just like, oh, it's finally Ohio week. Like, no. And this year it's felt different since game one. I don't know if you know this, they threw in a drill at the end of practice this year, and they call it the Ohio State drill. That's something I like to see after, 5, 6, 7 years, however long it's been. Harbaugh been there, a disappointment. And I like to see those things and the culture slowly start to change. And again, back to that Penn State game, we normally find a way to lose that game, and we found a way to win. And I just feel like maybe, hopefully, the wheels are turning in the right direction for us to get on your guys' level. Because I think Ohio State's the top tier program, above obviously Clemson now, above Alabama, and Georgia. They just kind of got there. Yeah. I mean, you guys are what every college football fanatic. I'm a fanatic, and you guys are too. That's where we want to be. And back to your original question, I do think if it's a one-possession game in the fourth quarter, let's just say there's 3 minutes to go on the clock, I think we do go down the field and score, mainly because your defense is your only weakness. I mean, it has gotten. And
it's not a small one, Matt. Yeah. Let me tell you, that is the concern. And Matt,
you're right. I was just going to say Purdue put up 31 even in a blowout.
Yep. But Matt, we got 20 seconds. Wrap up your point. Sorry, not trying to be rude.
No, you're fine. Thank you. I just think maybe if we play a perfect game and it's close in the fourth quarter, we could prevail, even though I still think you guys win.
All right, good stuff. Matt, thank you. Appreciate it. Good example to start the show that Ohio State, Michigan fans can have a conversation and not have to be all trash talk all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt, take care, man.
Thank you. Go Blue.
You sneaky.
Hit the music. We got to cleanse ourselves. We got to cleanse ourselves.
And, earlier he said, behinds. He didn't want to say anything bad, like a swear that he says go Blue at the end. Matt, we had a good thing going. We had a good thing.
Call the FCC on him, man.
He said, I try to be nice. I try to open the door to have cut. Now, look, but Michigan fans, they still have that sound, that sad sound in their voice. Like, I guess. I mean, we have a shot. Nope. Kenner, stop. You were doing good. Damn it. Now, Matt, I appreciate that call. Appreciate it. I really do. If you're just tuning in, Justin Kenner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's Michigan week. And yesterday, a lot of trash talking. Look, that's the fun part of it. I'm not going to take the fun out of this. We can still trash talk, but not for at least another hour. So I want to have a normal conversation with you Michigan fans because I want to know why this year's different. Do you feel, Michigan fans, that this year, and Buckeye fans, if you are concerned about this Michigan team, it's okay you could use an alias, you can use a different name if you want, but why are you worried about this team, this Michigan team? What about this particular Michigan team makes you concerned? 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. You can also head to Facebook, like the Justin Kenner Show page, and jump in the conversation there. Kev, 518-1410. Who do we have next?
We have Charlie from Michigan. On line 2.
Charlie from Michigan on line 2. Charlie in Michigan, how are you, my friend?
Oh, really good up here, up in Michigan.
I What the hell do you want, Charlie?
Wolverine.
I should have known something was off. I should have known.
Man, I tell you what. So the Wolverines, their basketball team was out in Vegas while I was out there, and there was Michigan fans everywhere. And
they don't spray for that over there.
They're the nicest people. Like, I don't know, like, to a fault. Like, I couldn't be mean to them. I'm like, hey, 5 more days. They're like, oh, we know. And I was like, that's it? Okay. But, no, I mean, there is no chance. And this is not like a bias thing. Like, I can't think of the last time I've ever seen, and Ohio State's had plenty of good offenses over the years, but man, this is up there with like the Joe Burrow LSU stuff. I think I don't know how you stop them. I don't know how anybody stops their offense, and I don't think. I mean, I thought Michigan State was going to show up. That was awful.
Here's why I would be concerned, to play devil's advocate here. The reason that they are so damn good is because of C.J. Stroud, but C.J. Stroud is also what terrifies me about this game, because he has lived up to the expectations and then some, considering how the season started. But we do forget that technically he is a freshman. Technically it's his second year, I get that, but first full year as a starter, and your first Ohio State-Michigan game is on the road at the Big House with the chance to get to the Big Ten title game and a playoff. I'm not saying the kid's not cut for it, because Ryan Day doesn't recruit guys that can't match their physical skills with their mental skills as well, but you do have to keep that in mind. We've seen when he has off games like against Nebraska, Ohio State looks like a different animal at that point. So again, I'm not anticipating that, but it is something to be cognizant of, that, hey, it's a first-year starter. It's the first time he's being thrown out there. At times, C.J. Stroud has shown some signs of being a young freshman player at times, right? So that's really the other thing, too, is not taking a shot at Michigan here, but it would have to be Ohio State almost beating themselves to a certain degree. Right, Kev, what do you think about that?
Yeah,
CJ
I mean,
Stroud.
Let's not act like he hasn't had bad games. Like, obviously that Nebraska game stands out the most, because I probably would say that was like his worst game. But shoot, the Tulsa game wasn't his best game either. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody will talk about, he was dealing with the shoulder injury, took the week off, then came back guns a-blazing and everything like that. But you're right, he is a young quarterback, and young quarterbacks have peaks and valleys. And the way you have a quarterback having a bad game, you hit him. And when you got two guys like they got off the edges that can get after the quarterback, that's the type of stuff that alarms
once you rattle him and he's on the road and that house will be loud. That's all. Again, CJ Stroud's good. I'm not questioning him or even putting doubt out there. All I'm saying is just that is something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, the best quarterbacks make mistakes.
Yep.
Tom Brady throws interceptions. It happens.
Who else throws interceptions? I know another guy that throws a lot of interceptions. All right, we got Charlie. Charlie, what up, man? Can you continue your?
I got a question for Charlie. Charlie, so you were in Vegas this past weekend. Where'd you stay at?
I stayed at Planet Hollywood.
Woo! So did you partake in any of the fun activities out there in Las Vegas? You don't have to get too
Man, I'm like an old man these days, man. I used to go to Vegas when I was in my, my 20s. Get pretty wild. It always seemed like one big long day out there, but not this time. Like, I did like all the old man exclusive activities, like went to like different shows and stuff. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know, I'm sure maybe there's at least one Raider fan listening. Very disappointed in Raiders fans, very disappointed in Raider Nation. Their fans were soft. Their stadium was only like 3/4 full. Maybe because it's in Vegas and not in Oakland no more, like the real fans don't come to games. I don't know. But it was like I went to Tennessee. I saw the Bengals in Tennessee a couple years ago, and it was exactly like that. Like their fans were just soft. Like it was a weird atmosphere. But
Charlie in Michigan.
Charlie, we didn't drop you on purpose. You're cutting out. That stadium,
maybe it's a Michigan connection.
Yeah, but it's tough. Yeah, all the way out in Michigan. I get it. 518-1410. Okay, we got, again, quite a few people on hold. I promise you we're going to continue this discussion. Charlie, call back. We'll get you back up to the front of the line. You did cut out there, so that's why we did move on from you. But 518-1410, that's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Yeah, we're talking Ohio State, Michigan. And we did a lot of smack talk yesterday, or I did. Kev's always, he's the mellow one on the show. We want to continue this. I want to hear from Michigan fans. Why do you believe that this is your year? All right, a lot of confident Michigan fans on social media, and usually I like to go back and forth on it, but I'm like, well, okay, but why? Why are you confident? Because there's not a whole lot of reasons to be confident. If the roles were reversed, I'd be saying the same thing about Ohio State. So the question I have is as a cocky Buckeye fan, why do I need to be worried about that team up north? 518-1410, we're having a normal conversation. We got tricked earlier. Matt and I had a good conversation. Matt and Kev had a good conversation, and he ended it with go blue. You have that right, I guess, but he did. He snuck it in there. We'll be back in just a moment. 518-1410. Also coming up, is there a shot for the Buckeyes and the Bearcats to meet in the college football playoff? I think there is a path starting to form. We'll talk about that coming up around the corner as well. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
It's not just Santa who's coming to town, it's also your in-laws and their cousins. So time for some gifts from the Home Depot. From doorbell cameras to intelligent thermostats, you'll look smart and save big on the latest smart home gifts. Does your father-in-law like to fix things around the house? Put him to work with a DeWalt 20-volt 2-battery starter kit. Buy one, get one free. That should keep him busy. No matter who comes to town this year, make the holidays yours with savings on tools and gifts store-wide from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Do your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first box, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
Furnished by the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic, Black Friday.
The best day of the year.
And Kohl's always has the best deals. I'm for sure getting a coffee maker for my sister and a new blender for me.
A little self-gifting, huh?
Yep. I saw some super soft bedding too. My mom will love it.
Ooh, sounds cozy.
There's even an extra 15% off, and you can get Kohl's Cash.
Oh, so you can go back for more.
You know it. Select styles. Offers end November 26th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline. My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What she
is
irreplaceable. COVID hospitalizations of young people have
tripled since the start of summer. So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID vaccines.
She said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Take home Frickers Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
Santa here. I used to shop online, but they don't have anything in stock. Now I go to the Hobby Shop, where I save money by getting fun and exciting gifts in stock from a locally owned small business that beats Amazon. The Hobby Shop near the Dayton Mall has the latest RC planes by E-Flight and the hottest radio-controlled trucks from Axial. Want to go fast? The Hobby Shop has Arma RC cars in stock that go over 80 miles per hour. Keep your dollars local. Their shelves are stocked at the Hobby Shop, just north of the Dayton Mall, across the street from Lowe's. Call 436-6161.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So it's about that time for an oil change? We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic or full synthetic high mileage and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Bags under your eyes? That's junk sleep. And Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Black Friday sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
State, Michigan, this Saturday, 10:30 coverage begins right here on 1410 ESPN Radio, a noon kickoff. You can also catch the game on our sister station, 92.9 Jack FM on the FM stick for those who are living in the Miami Valley, but just slightly outside of our listening range. We appreciate those who take in Buckeye football or basketball, by the way. Ohio State got that big win yesterday. How about Michi?
Yes, sir.
Michi, that's pretty cool. So there's a picture floating around of Michi that it was, I think, it would have been about probably 7-8 years ago. He's a little kid with his phone out on the floor at the shot, taking a selfie or whatever. And so that's what they've been sharing around all day is, hey, this kid, goes from being just little kid running around being a fan of the Buckeyes, and now he's hitting game-winning shots in these little invitationals here Thanksgiving week. So that's pretty cool. It's a big win for Ohio State, especially they dropped out of the top 25 after losing to Xavier last week, and they get right back in their winning ways. But that was a good one. That was a good game.
Big-time shot, not to be forgotten. E.J. Liddell had a huge game as well.
Kyle Arns.
Yeah.
Or Justin Arns, sorry. His brother's Kyle. That was the one who played at Michigan State. But Justin Arns from Versailles. I mean, that was he was looking for his shot. Like at times he kind of waits and all that. He was coming off screens and firing away, and he actually played real well defensively. You look at him, he's, a string bean. You think guys could just muscle him off, but that was actually one of his better defensive games. But we have to talk Ohio State basketball because the other teams in town are letting us down. I mean, Wright State lost again today. Close one to James Madison. I mean, my goodness.
I was listening to it on the radio as well.
Shout out to Chris Collins and Jim Brown.
Yeah, man. They had a lead like earlier in the game, and something about them, man, like they can score the ball, but like, man, I know coaches got to be starting to think, man, hey, defense.
Two legitimate kids like that Grant Basile kid, he could put points up easily, and Tanner Holden. Outside of those two, it's a lot of question marks right now. It's just guys who are just standing around looking at each other like, I don't know what the hell to do. And it's, yes, they lost Loud and Love from last year, but there ain't no damn excuse for why this team should be so dependent on two players on this roster. Like
very NBA-esque.
Without the,
yeah, two guys and everybody else just kind of like not doing much offensively. And, if you're not going to be doing something offensively, you got to do something defensively. You got to cause havoc. You got to get on the boards. You got to do something, man. So
killed on the board.
So Wright State is now 1-3.
1-4.
1-4. Didn't see that one coming. Surely didn't see that one coming.
No, this ain't an excuse, but they're like the other team in towns. They're doing all their losing on their home floor. Wright State, they had that one game that shouldn't even count against the D2 school. They opened that was just about a week and a half ago, and they're not back until like December 12th or something like that. I mean, they're not back home for a while. Everything's on the road, so they're
I'll be there. A couple games this season, along with how many other people be at Wright State games.
Ask Mikey. No one
the
knows.
attendance
I'm
police.
at 50 people. I'm at 50 people go. Dayton Flyers will be in action on Thursday, Thanksgiving. They'll be taking on Miami. And that's that invitation over there. So again, in Orlando, taking on at Miami of Ohio, the Hurricanes. That's a big one for them. I'm telling you, like it would not surprise me to watch them struggle against all these teams ranked in the mid 200s in the KenPom rankings, and then go beat a Miami and Orlando. That how you eliminate that? Like, I get it. You've lost those games already. You've got to put that behind you. Who cares at this point? Like, same thing goes for Wright State. You've lost 3 or 4 straight now. Who cares? You get that next win tomorrow. You forget those losses.
Yeah.
UD gets that win against the Hurricanes in Orlando on Thursday. It's like, okay, now they kind of got that mojo back a little bit and kind of got some of that momentum. But they have a tough schedule. I mean, they still have Virginia Tech. They're at Ole Miss. Like, they have an opportunity before A10 play to get some quality wins under their belt. It may not help as far as an at-large bid at this point because of how many bad losses they already have starting out. But forget that. I mean, you got to play for something.
Yeah. Just
because the at-large bid is gone doesn't mean that you can't go out there and play for something at this point. And you got to play to get that confidence back. And Miami, the Hurricanes, you go get a good quality win against a Power 5 opponent like that. That's a good way to erase some of the embarrassing losses they've had to start. So we'll see.
Absolutely. You get that bad taste out your mouth. And obviously, the whole goal to play a game is to win, but you get better. Get better while you're out there on the court because conference play is right around the corner. And conference play is going to mean so much to UD this year because I think that other way getting into the conference tournament and everything like that, you got to win it. You got to start winning some games and build that confidence and get ready to go win games in conference and in that tournament because that's your only way of making the big dance this year.
All right, back to Ohio State, Michigan. It is Michigan week. Ohio State, the game, of course. We're looking forward to that coming up this Saturday. But in the meantime, yesterday, a lot of trash talk. I wanted to kind of ease it back today a little bit. I said, okay, I want to hear from Michigan fans because I want to hear why do you believe that your team has a shot this year? What makes Michigan different this year that in years past they didn't have a shot, even though in those years you probably felt they had a shot then too. But even then, in comparison to those teams, what makes this team different? 5-1-8-14-10, 5 of the last 6 matchups between Ohio State and Michigan have resulted in Ohio State winning by double digits. The only time that it's been closer than that was that 2016 overtime classic, Kev. And that was an unbelievable matchup. That could have gone either way. Mm-hmm. Michigan was so close to ending that losing streak against the Buckeyes. Harbaugh was so close to getting that first win against Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes at that time. But in 2016, Ohio State won 30-17. Outside of that, it's been all double-digit blowouts. And last year, no Ohio State-Michigan game because of COVID-19. Ohio State beat Michigan 56-27 in 2019.
Beat down.
The other beatdown was the 62 year. They put 62 points up on that number 1 defense in the country at that time, at least statistically. Ohio State 62, Michigan 39 in 2018. And that was the year, again, defense was kind of the issue for the Buckeyes that year as well. They gave up 39 to Michigan. That was the year that they got blown out by 30. Almost gave up 50 against Purdue. That was a bad year defensively. In 2017, Ohio State won 31-20. Again, tighter, closer, but 31-20 the final. 2015, 42-13. 2014, 42-28. And that, of course, was the game that J.T. Barrett was injured at the midway point of that second half, late in the second half, I'm sorry. And then Cardale Jones had to come and finish the season. Had to help in that shutout win against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. They go on to come from behind to beat Alabama in the college football playoff semifinals, and then go on to rout Oregon to win a national championship the very first year of the college football playoffs. So nonetheless, there's a lot of history that goes back even way further than just this last decade. But this last decade, with these 9 straight wins that Ohio State has had over Michigan, they want to make it 10. Can that happen? I think it can. I think it will. Almost all Buckeye fans feel that it will. Michigan fans, I want to hear from you. 518-1410, is this the year the streak comes to an end? What makes this Michigan team so special? What makes them different? 518-1410. Kev, who is up next?
We have Doug on line 2.
Doug on line 2. How are you, sir? Welcome.
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you being patient.
Yeah. First, I just want a little comment on the UD thing real quick.
Yep.
Then we'll get to Ohio State. The UD team, this might be the worst team they have ever had.
Ever? There were some 4-win seasons. There were some bad years.
Well, this team, I ain't never seen them lose to these type of teams before. This team has no good players. And they say they got talent, but they not. Maybe the coach ain't doing right. If you're good, you don't lose to these type of teams, and you don't even have to have a coach. They just don't have nothing. They won't win 6 games this year. And Miami or Virginia Tech, they don't have any chance to beat any of those teams.
You said they're only going to win 6 games?
They might win 6 games this year. They might be about 6-25.
No way.
They're horrible. Who are they going to beat?
Look, I get it because confidence is way down right now. And to your point, it's tough to look at their schedule. There's no wins. You can't circle any team on their schedule and say that's a guaranteed win because they just lost 3 straight games to teams that normally you would circle as guaranteed wins, even for down years. I think they're going to win way more than 6. I mean, I think 10 to 12 for a bad year. But I think they're going to win some games that they probably shouldn't win based on what we've seen to start. But then they're going to continue that trend of losing games, even in conference play, that they should not. And we saw that trend starting last year when they lost to Fordham and LaSalle and some others. But then they beat St. Bonaventure. They beat some teams that they probably no one thought that they could with some of their struggles last year. So I think that pattern will continue. They have individual talent, but collectively, I don't even know who the hell they are. I don't know what any of their roles are. I don't know. I'm with you. I get why you're not so optimistic.
You think it's coaching why they're not doing anything?
I put a lot of blame on Anthony Grant for a lot of the team's struggles since he took over the program. And so many people live in that 2020 season when that was a magical run. But that's what a lot of people use to justify how great of a coach he is. But there's more examples of this team not looking as in sync as what they should be. And that's what I just think this is more of those types of examples. Got to give Anthony Grant time, though, before we officially go that route. I think that he needs, at least until January to figure out if this team's going to get better. That, to be fair, that's what non-conference is for, though. Non-conference is for that, but the problem is you're usually supposed to come away with wins in the process, and they're losing, and that's the problem.
When you're losing these games, you are in for a long, long season. There's just no excuse to lose to them type teams. It's just no one does that.
But if they beat Miami on Thursday, all of a sudden, it's like they got that confidence, and now players could start settling into their roles. I think now it's becoming mental. I think it's we lost to a bad team. Now we lost back-to-back to a bad team. Now you got a losing streak against really bad teams. It takes one win against a quality team to kind of get that confidence switch flipped back in the minds of these young kids, and I think that can happen on Thursday against Miami. But if they lose in blowout fashion to Miami, now now things will become really concerning because it could start snowballing out of hand if it hasn't already.
Well, I listen to y'all every day, and I'll call back probably in January, and they might be about 2-15.
And then I'll tell you were right. I can't say you're completely right, but your feelings are justified. You shouldn't have a lot of trust in this team right now with what we've seen to start, but you got to give them a little more couple. You got to give them a couple more weeks. You got to give them one more month to see if they can iron this out.
Have you ever seen anything like this before from UD?
No, I haven't. Like, it's not. And if it was just one game, it's one thing. I would have taken my shots here and there just as a Wright State guy. But it's 3 straight, and it went from being funny at first to now it's concerning, and I don't find it funny anymore because like these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Like, I ain't trying to pile on these kids. Like, if we notice it, you as a fan feel it, I notice it, Kev notice it. How do you think these guys feel? They came to Dayton because this whole community eats, breathes, and sleeps college basketball and Dayton Flyers basketball. There's no one that feels worse about this than those kids. So it's like I don't want to pile on them too much, but I want to give them till January. I think that's what the non-conference is for, to kind of figure themselves out. This is a very young team. I don't like that excuse, but it is what it is.
Okay, getting to Ohio State. Now, I listened to the other callers of it, and I mean, they have every reason to feel like they're going to blow Michigan out. And, it seems like it should maybe be a better game than it's been. But the guy made a remark about this team being like that LSU team. And I just think that's a little far-fetched, seeing how they done struggled about 4 games this year. And LSU just beat their crap out of everybody. I mean, if they didn't struggle against great teams. Now, I don't even know if LSU struggled against good teams, let alone Tulsa and Nebraska. And even though Nebraska ain't a bad team, but Ohio State struggled against, they struggled in about at least 4 games this year. And that LSU team was just relentless. So that was probably his bias talking. Or do y'all agree that y'all think this team is like that LSU team?
No, I don't. I don't think they're like that LSU team offensively. I think they're still high potent on offense, and you don't have to be that LSU team to win a national championship because you ain't playing the LSU team. You playing these teams right here. Right. And ain't no question in my mind that this Ohio State offense is the best offense in the country.
Yeah, CJ Stroud, too, being a first-year starter in the league. You had Joe Burrow, who'd been in college for like 18 years, and it took him 18 years to finally be good in college. So, no, it's not anything. No, I'm just joking. Well, kind of. But, no, like that was an experienced team. That was more of a veteran-led team. Like, this team's still relatively young, too. I mean, your best running back is Trevion Henderson, his first year starting, as a freshman. Your first-year starting quarterback. You have experience at the wide receiver positions, but, I mean, it's just one of those things where you got this offense, trying to figure it out with new faces and new places. And they've done it pretty, I want to say flawlessly, but they've done a fantastic job of navigating through the murky parts sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I hope it's a good game. And, cause these blowouts I'm tired of that. I'd like to see the game mean something in the fourth quarter. I can't say one way or the other who's going to win. I just hope it's a good game. I think everybody kind of hopes that. I know you do, Justin, because you're tired of the rival being so lopsided and not even be considered a rival when Michigan's getting beat by 30 and 40 points.
Yeah, it's tough to get into when it comes to that point, but we'll see if that narrative changes on Saturday, man. That's for sure. Doug, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. But yeah, look. Dayton does not look good right now.
No,
I'll be the first one to tell you, and I'll say it the loudest. But at the same time, the season's not over.
No,
there could be a point come February or March where we look back and say, "Can you believe back then we were all?" I mean, everyone was counting this team out. Look, this team's not getting in that large bed, and this team has a lot of issues. And I don't think it's lack of talent. I think they have the talent. I just don't think, right now as a team, I don't think they know who the hell they are. I don't think anyone has roles figured out yet. That falls on coaching. That's for the coaches to figure out. But to be fair to the coaches, the time to figure out roles for guys is during the non-conference. But when you present your program in a way that, you brag about all the bye games, the fact that, you try to schedule like the big boys, you play a ton of home games because you spend a lot of money to buy the Austin Peay's of the world to come in. You're losing bye games.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was so annoyed during COVID when you had colleges doing these PSAs and doing all this stuff of, donate, be a fan. We appreciate our fans. Will you donate to our athletics department? All that. I'm like, how about you tell fans, keep your money, and we'll stop paying teams to come here to play that we're losing to on top of that. That's why I get real irritated with athletics when it comes to that. We know how much money is funneling into these athletic departments. Don't be shaking the cup asking for spare change and then turn around and then lose 3 straight bye games like that. Like, I'm not piling it on. I know I sound like a hater right now. That's totally fine, but you have to understand where I'm coming from with that. Like, you don't see the optics in that and how that's kind of a problem. It is kind of a problem, but you want to schedule like the big boys. That's fine. You want to bring these bad teams in and pay them a lot of money to do it. That's fine. You got to take care of business, so you got to win. You got to keep fans happy. That's why everyone paid the thousands of dollars in seat license fees to be able to keep their spots during COVID season last year, because if they didn't spend the thousands of dollars, they were going to lose their tickets. So, no, there is pressure on that department, but they put it on themselves, and I like that. I like that you hold yourself to a high standard, but with that, I don't think I'm being unfair here. If people don't like what I have to say about it, that's fair, but at the same time, with great power comes, what's that little dumb saying, the Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. You have a responsibility. If you're going to spend money like that, if you're going to try to be one of the big boys, you're going to get treated like that. I've been saying that about the Bearcats all season. You want to be treated like the big boys. You want to be viewed as the big boys. But then when you get judged and criticized like the big boys do, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you're just being rude. Now you're being mean. These are kids we're talking about here. It's like, stop. You can't have it both ways. I do believe, though, that it's way too dang early to sit there and say that this season is a throwaway season. They got to figure it out. That's what non-conference is for.
Yeah, they got to figure something out ASAP.
Running out of time. Here's the other day, too. Matt Sturgeon, he says both coaches in Dayton are very average. That's not true at all. I've been saying from the very beginning that I know that this particular coach is at the program in town that not a lot of people pay attention to, but Scott Nagy is a way better coach than Anthony Grant. I don't care if I get in trouble for saying that. That's just the bottom line. Anthony Grant has all the money, has all the resources, has everything at his fingertips to build a program there. His job is way easier than Scott Nagy, who has a entire school who is being made fun of across the country for all the financial issues. They have one of the smallest budgets actually, if I'm not mistaken, the last I checked, they have the smallest athletic budget of any athletics department in the state of Ohio. And yet they're right on track with what you look at all the money UD spends. If you look at Wright State, Scott Nagy and Anthony Grant's time at UD and Scott Nagy at Wright State, they have the same amount of NCAA tournament appearances, one each, if you want to count the COVID year. They also have the same NIT appearances. So I'm just saying, for Wright State, for what they're spending and what Coach Nagy's getting out of that program, it's the exact same as what UD is getting. I know that 2020 season was the face of everything he has done there, and you can't erase it. That's there. But there's way more seasons of this average to below average basketball that is not what that university was wanting. That's not a hot take. I know it's frowned upon to question things in this town, but that's the reality of it. And I do not view Scott Nagy as a below average coach. In fact, every person you talk to, whether it be at ESPN or what have you, they say no, that he should have been at a bigger school by now, that he is one of the most well-respected mid-major coaches, mainly because he does set up shop at these mid-major schools and takes them and runs with them, and that's what he's done. But that's kind of all I got to say about that. Let's get back into the conversation with Ohio State, Michigan, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in. We'll be back in a moment. Hour number 2 coming up next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month and no contract. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street are huge supporters of the Dayton Flyers. Whether you're one of the 13,000 fans cheering on the Flyers at UD Arena or one of the hundreds of fans packed inside Tim's on game day, there is only two places that you can feel the passion of the Flyer faithful more than anywhere else. Timothy's Bar and Grill is also a sponsor of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash in the afternoons and the Talking Out Loud Hour on Thursday nights with Sully. Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Go Flyers.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675. Between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Bags under your eyes? That's junk sleep. And Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Black Friday sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
Football fans, the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. The guys will recap the biggest games from college football Saturday, including your Ohio State Buckeyes. The guys will also get you set up for the day's biggest NFL matchups, featuring your Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and more. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers on 741. Sunday mornings at 11:30 on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him up.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Baker's time running out in Cleveland. We'll get to that coming up around the corner. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, round 2 coming up this Sunday. The Browns and the Ravens go head-to-head for the first time in 2021. We'll talk about that around the corner. We also have ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. We'll hang out with him. We'll talk about the college football playoff, as well as some of the top matchups in the National Football League. The Bengals just beat up on Jason Fitz's Raiders, so I'm curious his thoughts. I will bring up Charlie's call from earlier to him. I'm curious his thoughts. Like, what Jason's a diehard Raiders fan, but what is it like at these home games? Is that, does that atmosphere exist? Now, maybe they just need some better teams in town. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. It could be. You think people in Vegas are like, we got the Bengals in town? Don't think so. Maybe. That's a big stadium. You think there's that? I mean, that's a lot of seats to fill, using the Bengals as the draw to fill that stadium up. Just saying. 518-1410. We'll get into that. Plus the Cincinnati Reds. There's been a lot of rumors about who the Reds could look to move on from. And today, according to ESPN's Buster Olney, there are a couple players that the Reds have been letting teams know that are off limits. Who are those players? We'll get into that coming up around the corner as well. Kev, I thought about it. I was like, man, of all the years for Ohio State and the Bearcats to both be in the college football playoff conversation, there really doesn't seem to be a path for them to get to one another, unless, of course, it's the national championship game, which, no offense, Bearcat fans, I'm not piling on here. If they get to the playoff, and there is a good window to get there now, like they got to win out, they got to take care of business. Ohio State, I believe Michigan will be number 4 tonight. I believe Ohio State beats Michigan. That opens up the door for number 4 for the Bearcats to probably be in the rankings, a week from tonight in the second to last one. Okay. So with that being said, I do now officially see a path to Cincinnati and Ohio State playing in the first round of the college football playoffs, mainly because of this. Let me ask you, Georgia, if they lose to Alabama, does that move Alabama all the way up to number 1?
Mm-hmm.
If Ohio State's number 2 right now, and they blow out Michigan, and they blow out whoever they take on in the Big Ten championship game, if they do all of that, I have a hard time believing that if the number 1 team, if Ohio State's number 2 and if Ohio State's number 2 and the number 1 team loses to Alabama, I could see Alabama going to 2, Ohio State going to 1, Cincy at 4. But see, this is what always happens. This happened a few years ago when we talked about this scenario, and I can't remember what the 1-4 would have been. I think it was the Ohio State. Yeah, because that's what it was. We wanted to see Joe Burrow and LSU against Ohio State in that first round. And then there was a chance that we could potentially have saw Georgia and Alabama both get in if that was the case, but they weren't going to have Georgia, Alabama playing back-to-back weeks. That the committee would have to ask themselves, is an Ohio State-Cincinnati matchup worth back-to-back weeks of Georgia and Alabama? You don't think Ohio State can get to number one? I do. If they blow out Michigan, number 6 or whatever, who will be number 4, if that means in the last month of the season, Ohio State would have destroyed the number 7 team in the country. They're the number 2 team. They would have destroyed the number 4 team in the country in Michigan, because I believe Michigan will be 4. And they destroy the team in the Big Ten championship and their Big Ten champions. I think that's enough to move Ohio State to number 1 if Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC title game. But you think Alabama's a lock at 1 no matter what?
Yeah, I think whoever wins that game is going to be number 1. And the ceiling for UC is 4. I don't think they can get past that 4 mark. And it really doesn't matter who's 2 or 3. They're going to play each other anyway. So whoever number 1 is, that's who UC is going to play if UC is going to make it in there. There's no way that they're going to put UC at 3. Their ceiling is 4. So it would only have to happen if Ohio State was able to get that number 1 spot. But I don't think it will be, because Alabama's number 2 now, or 3, or whatever the case may be, when they play in the SEC championship game. And when Ohio State eventually plays whomever in the Big Ten championship game, say it's Wisconsin, I think that's who's leading the West right now. I think there'll be like 15 or something like that. That win that they have is going to be better than Ohio State's win. So I think whoever wins that SEC championship game is going to be 1. Then the loser, if it is Georgia, they'll probably fall to 3. Ohio State will be 2. Like I said, it really don't matter. They're going to play each other anyway. It just matters about which color jersey you're going to wear in that matchup. And UC will be playing the number 1 team, probably be Bama or Georgia.
See, I can't see. I mean, yes, that's a big. If Alabama beats Georgia, that is huge. But does beating number 1 Alabama, is that enough to, or beating number 1 Georgia, is that enough to put Georgia or Alabama at 1 over Ohio State, who would have destroyed number 7, destroyed number 4, destroyed number, let's say, 14 or 15 in Wisconsin? I think that trumps one great win over Georgia at that point, that late in the season. And if there's a chance, but again, the reason I could see them putting Ohio State number 1 with Cincinnati at number 4, but they don't want the 2 and 3 matchup to be Georgia, Alabama, in back-to-back, not weeks, but games. Now, the way to flip that, they can justify saying, no, because you're not going to bump Georgia from 1 to 4.
Right.
But they could justify it. They could say, hey, you know what? Ohio State, you're number 2, Alabama's 1. But no, because then you would have Georgia. See, damn the 2 SEC teams. They're ruining everything.
If Georgia wins, won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, Georgia wins, or they're locked at 1. And then at number 4, but that's how they can get away with it there, though, with Notre Dame. If Georgia beats Alabama and knocks Alabama out, Georgia's 1, Ohio State's 2. You could move Cincinnati. You could justify putting Cincinnati at 3 because, well, they head-to-head, they beat Notre Dame.
That head-to-head ain't matter with Michigan State and Michigan.
Yeah, but that's way different. Michigan, we just got done saying they look like the better team in that game in Michigan.
Yeah, I remember he said that. He said, if you throw everything out but the final score, Michigan was better. Such a hilarious thing to say.
Who?
The guy from the committee. Like,
it can be funny, but the bottom line is at that point, look, I still see Notre Dame. But look, it's not as if it's not a locked in thing. Because you won the head-to-head, there's no way you could pass them. That is a factor that plays in. There is so much more. It's not just one damn freaking effing game that makes that decision. That is not the case. I'm so tired of hearing Bearcat fans say that, and everybody about Lance McAllister was screaming about that when Michigan passed Michigan State after losing. Michigan State. Yes, Michigan State was relevant because they beat Michigan. Super. Awesome. Okay. They beat Michigan. Awesome. Congratulations. Because of that, you're still in the playoff conversation. Awesome. Michigan, been great all year. You lost to Michigan State in one that really could have gone either way. You followed up the next week with another big win after that. Michigan State, they get beat bad by Purdue. They got beat bad, whatever you want to call it, blowout, however you want to call it. Bottom line is, that's a bad loss. You don't lose like that if you're a team that's trying to be the number 3 or 4 team in the country. So they got penalized. There is this imaginary rule that people make up that you're not allowed, like there's some kind of the block there that, because they won the head-to-head, they should not be ranked in front. What? That doesn't make any sense. That was the head-to-head matchup. If we're splitting hairs, if tie go, but I know it's the same record, but it's also the same the different strength of schedules, and that's what also gave Michigan the nod as far as that's concerned. And that's why I think here the Bearcats, you could justify putting them at 3 if you wanted to. I don't think they should be in the playoff to begin with, but hey, enough teams have lost in front of them to kind of open the door for them to get in. Thank you, Clemson. Thank you, Oklahoma. Thank you, Georgia. Or thank you, Georgia. If Georgia knocks off Alabama, knocks them out. I mean, there's a lot of teams that Cincinnati needs to be sending some Christmas cards to this year. Oh my goodness. I'm just saying. 518-1410. Who we have, Kev?
We got Ish on line 4.
Ish on 4. Ish, how are you? Welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
All right. Long time listener, first time caller.
Appreciate it.
Love the show. Love what you guys do on here. One talk Ohio State, Michigan football.
Okay.
Michigan State, they've had a good year. Like you said, they look better against Michigan State when they played. I got a buddy of mine that I bet every year, so I have a very serious question for you guys. We normally bet wings. How many wings should I bet Ohio State's going to beat Michigan to, ensure that I can bring home this victory for my appetite, I should say?
A minimum of 20, right? Got to be at least 20 wings.
But where is your location for what wings you're going to be getting? Like who is going to be the distributor of these wings?
Normally we do like B-Dubs or Roosters or something like that.
Can't go wrong with B-Dubs, Roosters, Frickers. I mean, there's so many great places to get wings. So forget where you go. I think Kev's right, 20. I think 20 wings is good. But if you're really feeling confident, I'd go 30.
Woo! Okay. Now, another serious question as he's a Michigan fan, right?
Okay.
Too bad.
He's been dodging my calls. It is. He's been dodging my calls. But I sincerely believe this year was going to be a good year because I'm a lot like you guys. I kind of want to see a good competitive game. I want the rivalry to kind of come back. I don't want them to beat Ohio State, but I obviously want them to have a competitive game. What are some key points that you think? I mean, if they lose, do you think Harbaugh's out this year? Do you guys think he might come back? Or if it's a competitive game, does he come back, rebuild, and try again next year?
Yeah, Kev, does his career come down to this game?
Ooh, man. I mean,
I think the result, I know this sounds crazy. I think he could lose, but damn it, they better look competitive. I mean, it's double-digit losses, 5 of the last 6 matchups between these two teams. I think it's okay to lose to the number 2 team in the country if it comes down to it, but man, he can't get destroyed, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a game into the fourth quarter. It can't be a Ohio State, Michigan State situation where it's 42-0 at halftime. Like he might get fired in the locker room at that point. Like it's got to be competitive in the fourth quarter. It has to be entertaining in the fourth quarter. People have to be watching like, okay, here we go. Start of the fourth quarter. Who's going to come away with this W in order for him to like stick around and people have confidence in him going forward? I mean, it almost has to be like that overtime game where it's some type of controversy about who really won the game and everything like that.
Yeah, I look forward to that too. I hope, like I said, in all seriousness, I got a lot of friends that root for Michigan, which it's a good thing that they're involved in college sports and things of that.
Show me who your friends are, and that'll tell me who you are. That's all I need to know right there with that statement.
Well, you guys have a good one. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate the call. Thanks for listening as well. Ooh, yeah, he has kids screaming in the background. Unless that's his Michigan fans screaming back there. I have no idea. Ish, thank you, man. I appreciate you being a listener and calling like that. But that's a good question. Is Harbaugh fired if they lose to Ohio State on Saturday? I think that the way it's not that you lose, it's how you lose. If it's a game like Michigan State, by the way, where the game's done at the first quarter and beyond done at halftime, look, I don't see how he comes back after that. But then again, the boosters in that program, they've been dealing with mediocrity for quite some time. He's above average. But it's just the point that like Michigan should be at the level that Ohio State is. And they're, you look at the SEC, people act like, well, it's really tough if you're this team because, that's the conference that Alabama's in. Well, Georgia has done a fantastic job. Say what you want about Kirby, say all that. they have found a way to carve their own niche in that conference. Like, it is Alabama and Georgia in the SEC. It's still Alabama ahead of Georgia, but it is Alabama, Georgia, and everybody else kind of in that second tier. It's a revolving door a little bit as far as who's going to be that big competitor that year, whether it be in Auburn, whether that be a Florida, whether that be an LSU, and that type of thing. So at this point, I don't want to hear from Michigan fans that, it's Ohio State. They just dominate that conference. I don't want to hear that, because Georgia has proven that they can create a name for themselves in the SEC. Michigan should be able to do this. They should be doing the same thing. So there's no excuse for that. They got to figure it out. The problem is to get to the playoff, you got to win that last game of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when people say that, I don't feel like it has come down to the last game of the season. The last time it felt like that was 2016, that JT Barrett game. So that's the last time Ohio State, Michigan played one another that I felt like two of the top teams in the country were truly going head to head. I don't know how I feel about that for this weekend. I want to believe it, and I tried to believe it back in 2018, and that was the number one defense in the country, and Ohio State put 62 on the number one defense in the country that year. And that was supposed to be the year that when Ohio State lost to Purdue that year, that was supposed to be a down year for Ohio State, right? Remember, they narrowly beat Maryland a few weeks before that. That was a tough game to watch. They narrowly beat Maryland. You're like, man, you got beat by 30 again, or 29 against Purdue. You barely beat Maryland. You got the number one defense in the country. This is Michigan's year. This is their year. And I think that's the problem, is that we've seen examples of Michigan teams in the past that were equipped to handle Ohio State, and they end up giving up 62 points like we saw back in 18. So that's why I don't trust this Michigan team, even though there's enough evidence there that this is a legitimate team. I'm still not necessarily buying it. I want to believe it. I don't know if I necessarily buy it.
Yeah, it's do or die for Michigan and the program, and especially Jim Harbaugh. I mean, you go back to that 16 team and you think about the guys that were on that defense. You had Maurice Hurst, you had Peppers, you had Jordan Lewis, you had Wormley, you had Taco Charlton, you had Rashawn Gary. Like, all those guys got drafted, and all of them play a role on teams that are good NFL teams. Winovich as well. He's playing, like, I want to say he's playing for...
Wasn't it the Patriots?
Patriots. So all those guys,
I figured that's where he was going.
All those guys are like starters on good defenses in the league. I know Taco Charlton bounced around from like the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's on the Steelers now. But the point is a lot of those guys, this is the best defense they've had since then. Like, there was no question that defense in 16 was a good defense. Like, we can play the numbers game about other defenses that they had throughout the years, but that was the best defense they had in a long time. And I think this current iteration of their defense is the best since 16. So you got to make it happen. You got to. Hopefully not, but you got to, for his sake.
Absolutely. Again, Ohio State double-digit wins over that team up north, 5 of their last 6 matchups. 518-1410. We got Nick. Nick, how are you?
Pretty good, guys. Hey, I got a question way out of left field here.
Yep.
But I was thinking about it over the weekend, kind of talking about like MVP and stuff like that, kind of. MVP's most valuable player, right? Do you think that there's any way Matthew Stafford, I don't know, maybe this isn't the right way to phrase this question. Do you think that Detroit's record right now is almost directly because they took Matthew Stafford out of Detroit?
Can you say that for me one more time? I'm sorry.
Do you think, like, the Lions are doing so poorly solely because they don't have Matt Stafford anymore?
No.
You don't think so?
Detroit Lions aren't a good organization.
But I see what you're asking, Nick, because, like, I believe they beat the Browns if they have a capable quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I believe that they beat the Steelers if they have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford. There's a lot of these one-possession games that the Lions have lost this year that if they had Matthew Stafford, you're like, oh, they definitely come out on top there. But the thing is, he was there for so dang long that it's like it's hard to believe that, oh, man, you just dropped Stafford in with the Lions and they win half the games they've lost this year. But let's say that they've won half the games they've lost this year. They're still sub 500, which is about average, which is about what they were when he was there to begin with, below that technically. So I know what you're asking. I do think they would be better with him. I think they would have won quite a few more games, but we're still talking about a 3 to 4 win team, a team that would at least be in the middle of the pack, though.
Well, I just thought it was kind of strange. I don't feel like it's every year that you literally see a 1-for-1 where you take a quarterback for one team, a quarterback for the other, swap them like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was not really. I thought Goff would kind of lift that organization a bit, but instead, I mean, they're back to over.
I mean,
I was just kind of surprised. I went back and looked at it. They went over in 2008. That was before Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now. They lost to the Ravens by 2. They beat the Ravens, and they have Matthew Stafford. They lost to the Vikings by 2. They beat the Vikings. You have Matthew Stafford. The reason I say that is because Matthew Stafford, a quarterback, he's good for 2 to 3 more first downs. That's 2 to 3 more trips in the red zone to have a chance for a field goal or to have a chance for a touchdown or something along those lines. You tie with the Steelers. You probably win that game. You definitely beat the crappy Browns from this past Sunday. That's at least 4 wins right there. That's at least 4 wins. But let's not forget, they got blown out by the Eagles. They got blown out by the Rams. They got blown out. I mean, they lost by 10 to the Bears of all teams. They got blown out by the Packers and Niners. So, even if they have Stafford, we're talking about a 4-win Lions team as opposed to an 0-9-1 team at this point.
And we get to watch them for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I actually do. I am mad at that thing. I'd rather watch Stafford than whoever the hell they're going to throw out there for Thanksgiving. So I had to watch him on Sunday against the Browns, and now I got to spend my Thanksgiving watching them too against the Bears.
Would you would all be a fan every year on Thanksgiving if they did a Super Bowl rematch? Regardless
That's
of
actually
anything
a good
else.
point. I like that. NBA does a lot of NBA Finals rematches if the storyline's good enough for like Christmas Day. I actually wish they would do something like that. But to be fair, the NFL they don't have to get too creative with their scheduling as much more than they have to. People will watch. That's the thing. We talk about the Lions, but people will watch. It'll be on. Yeah. It'll be on at our Thanksgiving one way or another.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Ohio State, Michigan talk, college football playoff talk. And hey, do you think Matthew Stafford make the Lions better? But hey, I don't mind. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Let's go to Shaw. Shaw, we do have ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz coming up. I yelled at you yesterday. I have a hard time taking anything you say serious, considering you're calling in to talk about a game that you're not even going to watch.
I mean, I still got to give you my somewhat biased opinion if I'm going to be a diehard Michigan fan.
You can't be a diehard Michigan fan if you already admitted that you don't watch the game.
No, I watch the games, all of them except for this Ohio State game. This will be the first Ohio State game I don't watch.
You've said a lot of weird things in your time calling into this show. That's the top of the mountain.
It's like I said yesterday.
Mikey-esque.
No, don't go there, bro.
No, it is. Like, it straight up is. I mean, I've never seen people attack somebody in the comment section more than you after you said yesterday you don't even watch the game.
I mean, I watched. This is going to come even more strange. This will be the first one I don't watch.
What? So you said you never watched the game, but this will be the first one you don't watch.
No. I didn't. I said I'm not watching this one. I didn't say I never watched it. I watched. Go back to my comment about me ruining Thanksgiving.
You're ruining my Thanksgiving 2 days before with this take of yours. I don't get you, Shaw. I don't get you. Okay.
You lose 9 in a row and the last 2 by 50, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. But
how do you ruin Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. The game's on a Saturday.
It ruins.
You don't even know what day the game's played because you don't watch it.
No, that's not true. Yes, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, but my family stays for another week, and it just ruins the whole Thanksgiving holiday because I'm in a poor mood for the rest of the weekend. It's just not a good situation, brother, so I'm just staying away from it, and I'll watch it on DVR later on.
Here
not
you
a big
are
deal.
calling in with your hot takes on the game that you're not going to watch.
Because you were asking for Michigan fans to talk about the game. So
yeah, I thought it was like a kind of an unwritten standard that, hey, at least I'm talking to people that are going to watch the game.
I just don't really understand why it's such a big deal.
Is there any other games you're not going to watch this weekend that we can ask you about?
You're on one today. I'll give you that. I guess if you want me to go on the Michigan side of it and tell you why it's possible.
Real quick, I'm going to do this because Matt Sturgeon said, he goes, in the spirit of giving, let's hear Shaw out. Okay, fine. Shaw, you have 60 seconds because we got Jason Fitz coming up.
I know. And I shouldn't have dropped the call earlier. Anyways.
No, I wouldn't have got you till now anyways.
I figured. The defensive ends, yes. This is a different defensive coordinator since first year defensive coordinator. If you watched any Baltimore Ravens defense, this will look very similar on Saturday. Like I said yesterday, what worries me is the back end. They're they're just freshmen and sophomores except for Daxton Hill. Offensively, it's different because McNamara can throw the ball around. He struggles throwing the ball deep. That's why McCarthy comes in. I don't like it either, Kev, but that's why he comes in, to give them more of a running threat on the RPOs. And we have some tight ends that can get out and catch the ball. The offensive line is well improved, and the offense is going to have to move the ball. If they don't move the ball, this is going to look a lot like Michigan State. If they can keep your offense off the field, I think they have a shot, maybe. The quick strike offense for Ohio State is what worries me. And if they get down early and it gets somewhat ugly early, that's what scares me, because I think the team may quit because it's Ohio State. The difference of this year and previous years, this team hasn't shown the tendency to quit. Wisconsin, they kind of messed up some things at the end of the first half. They normally, when Michigan gets punched in the mouth with Harbaugh, they quit. This year they've got punched in the mouth by a couple different teams, and they fought back and they won both the games except for Michigan State. And I think they got complacent in that game and they got sloppy, and that's why they lost that one.
Sean, thank you. Real quick before we go to Jason Fitz, what a sad fan base. I mean, what a sad fan base. I'm not going to watch the game because we've lost 9 straight. It's so miserable. What a sad fan base. And then you hear them say, oh, man, they usually quit every year. This year, I haven't noticed them quitting. Ouch. If I ever get to the point where I say that about Ohio State, can you just punch me in the face? Gotcha. That's how confident I am that Ohio State will never get to that point. My goodness. That's a sad fan base. Well, Ohio State every year, it's championship or bust. And for Michigan fans, it's, they don't look like they're quitting as much as in years past. And you wonder why I say I don't really get all warm and fuzzy inside for this rivalry. I get warm and fuzzy inside for turkey and the stuffing and the pumpkin pie. And yes, even the green bean casserole. I'm a big fan of the green bean casserole. I love some good green bean casserole.
That's a no for me, dog.
That's fine. That's fine. If we went to the same Thanksgiving, there'd be more green bean casserole for me then. That's all I got to say. All right. We'll be back in a moment. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. He joins us next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Today we're going to have plentiful sunshine with a high of 43. Tonight some clear skies and a low around 30 degrees. And tomorrow for your Wednesday, it's going to warm up a little bit. A mix of clouds and sun in the morning, followed by cloudy skies during the afternoon, but a high of 52. I'm Adam Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Fever is a potential sign of COVID or the flu, and the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Exergen temporal scanners, available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hi, this is Paul Keels, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Keep your home comfort system running smoothly and efficiently with regular checkups from Butler Heating and Air Conditioning. Butler has been proudly serving the Miami Valley since 1949. Don't wait until your equipment breaks. Call Butler today at 937-253-8871. That's 937-253-8871. Go Butler and go Bucks.
Don't miss Helzberg Diamond's best Black Friday ever sale. Up to 65% off can't fail gifts for a limited time only. Grant their holiday wishes with sparkling diamond studs and pendants, a lab-created sapphire gift set, and more at up to 65% off. And here's a gift for you, a free Nintendo Switch Lite with a purchase of $699.99 or more. Visit Helzberg.com or a store near you. Offer valid November 23rd through December 1st while supplies last. See online or in store for details.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers here to tell you about OGW Energy Resources. If you own a home or a business and want to save money, then going solar with OGW Energy Resources is the way to go. OGW Energy Resources have been helping the Miami Valley save money by going solar for over 14 years. There is no better time than now to look into going solar. For more information, check out their website at ogwenergyresources.com. Go solar today. OGW Energy Resources. Your energy, your future. Control it.
Take home Fricker's Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always pleased. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month and no contract. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Nobody protects you from mayhem in Ohio like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk on the same great 5G coverage as one of those carriers. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family is saving over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250. Say Jill50.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Your choice, Craftsman 20-volt max drill or impact driver kit was $79, now $59 at Lowe's Black Friday. While supplies last, valid through 11/24, U.S. only.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. college football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz will join us coming up here momentarily. We'll get that ironed out here in just a second. Excited to talk with him about the game, Ohio State, Michigan, this Saturday. 10:30 coverage begins, noon kickoff right here on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. One interesting development from the Buckeyes' huge win against Michigan State this past Saturday was, of course, C.J. Stroud jumping all the way to the front of the line for the Heisman conversation. You know, there's been a lot of big names in college football this year, a lot of great players, but there really hasn't been that player that's kind of run away with it. You know, there hasn't been that Joe Burrow type player that, or, you know, even Tua, or that one year that Burrow won it. Everyone thought it was going to be Tua's award. Like, everyone was just anticipating that, you know, and it's tough to win a Heisman. You know, C.J. Stroud being in this position, Trevor Lawrence might go down as one. I mean, he is one of the best college football quarterbacks of all time. Never won a Heisman. We've seen multiple Buckeye quarterbacks be finalists. We've seen Dwayne Haskins be a finalist. We've seen Justin Fields be a finalist. It's tough to do. And that's what is really interesting about all this. But for C.J. Stroud, I never once thought, Kev, that he would be the front runner to win a Heisman. This season, at least. I'm not saying at any point, but for this season. And you look at his numbers, him and Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama, pretty much identical. Bryce Young has completed 71% of his passes. He's completed 71 of his 368 pass attempts. C.J. Stroud's completed 71 of his 346 pass attempts. Oh, yeah, and keep in mind, C.J. Stroud didn't play against Akron.
Right.
He was set out. He set out that game. He also was set out against the second half of Michigan State. He's been set out of multiple second halves this season. I'm not saying Bryce Young has not as well, but I mean, it is pretty dang impressive the numbers these guys have put up. 36 touchdowns compared to 38 for Bryce Young. Both have thrown for 3,500 yards, relative within 100 yards of one another. 3 picks for Bryce Young, 5 for C.J. Stroud. It's going to be really tough. It's really going to come down to how these teams finish. What's the cutoff for analyzing the Heisman, the Heisman candidates, Kev? Will the ACC or will the SEC and Big Ten title games be a part of the evaluation?
Yeah, I believe, because the championship week is next week, and then the Heisman ceremony is the following week.
So it's quick. It's right off the bat. So with that, I think, right now C.J. Stroud's the front runner, but I do think that, if all of a sudden Bryce Young goes on and they beat Georgia in the SEC title game, that's going to carry more weight than really anything else. But Stroud, look, it doesn't matter. Stroud's not competing to win a Heisman. He's competing to get to the college football playoff, to win a national championship. And to even win a Heisman, you have to compete at a Heisman level to accomplish the goal that ultimately him and the Buckeyes want to accomplish, and that's getting to the playoff, getting back to the playoff, getting back to the national championship game, and potentially facing Alabama in a rematch from last year in what will be a much different looking game. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be Ohio State's game to win, but it's not the same matchup from last year. Two pretty evenly matched teams with the advantage going to Alabama because of their defense, but ultimately still Ohio State's offense. I'll take their firepower over Bama's.
Yeah, the Heisman Trophy, it has changed over the years and everything like that. I know it's supposed to be the most outstanding player in college football, but over the last decade or so, is morphed into the best player on a team that is contending for the national championship, unless you have a standout year like Tim Tebow, who did something no one's ever done before during his sophomore year, run for 40 touchdowns and throw for 40 touchdowns. And then Lamar Jackson's sophomore year, where he threw for 4,000 yards and ran for another 1,500, something you've never seen before. But now it's really all about, you have to be on a contending team to even have a chance at this. So, and 9 times out of 10, that goes to the quarterback. The quarterback gets a lot of the glory, and then when things go wrong, they get a lot of the blame. So, that's why at the beginning of the season, people were questioning me about what your expectations for C.J. Stroud. I was like, well, if Ohio State's going to be where they want to be, he's going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Because without him, without the starting quarterback, whomever the starting quarterback for Ohio State is, if he's not playing at a Heisman level, They're not going to be competing for a championship. He's playing at outstanding level. There's competing for a national championship. He'll be invited to New York City.
So an interesting tweet from over the weekend. And look, when we talk about the shadiness from fans and the bias on fans, of course, their fans, like we as Buckeye fans believe no one's better. Like how could Bryce Young be better than CJ Stroud? Then there's Bama fans that are saying the same thing about that. How could CJ Stroud be better than Bryce Young? Give me a break. We play in the SEC. I mean, that's going to be your typical back and forth.
Means more.
But a guy that I'm just not a huge fan of at all, and this tweet just adds to it, Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn tweets out, Kev, that imagine the stats Bryce Young would be putting up if he had 3 Ohio State wide receivers instead of just 1.
Could have came to Ohio State.
That's such a, you could look, there's saltiness there. I mean, he's talking about the team that is basically his dad, the team that owns him. I get it. Brady Quinn's very salty, and that's totally fine and acceptable. I understand it. But look, no one was saying that about Joe Burrow when he had Justin Jefferson and when he had, of course, the guy that he's working with now in Cincinnati. I mean, you look at that and Jamar Chase. No one was saying that about him. No one was saying that about, look at all the talent that Trevor Lawrence had when he was at Clemson. Look at all the talent that Tua freaking had at Alabama.
Right.
At no point, but CJ Stroud, we got to discredit him because he has the best wide receiving core in college football. Like that's weak.
I would like to ask him, where's he going with it? Like, what does he mean? I mean, I can guess what he means, but I want to hear it out of his mouth. I want to hear what he has to say about that. Because if my memory serves correct, he had a couple good receivers when he was the quarterback at Notre Dame. So what is he saying? Like, the reason he's putting up these numbers because of the wide receivers?
He had a Chicago Cubs pitcher.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver. So there's that. Jeff Samardzija.
Yeah,
I was a big Samardzija fan, by the way.
I want to know what he means by that. What is that?
I think we all know what he means by that. It's Twitter. You don't go to Twitter to have legit. You don't put that on Twitter because you're genuinely wondering that. Like, he gets it. Like, he knew what he was doing, and he got the reaction he wanted. It was actually very Kinner-esque. I applaud him for his efforts. Okay, so I'm like, troll game meets troll game. I get it. Good for you. He knew what he was doing. But look, it's not like he went on later and look, hey, he has to be relevant. Ever since Urban left the big noon kickoff, no one gives a rip what Brady Quinn has to say. Let's just be honest. I mean, maybe when Urban gets let go from the Jags, Brady Quinn will be relevant again, and he won't have to take. He wouldn't have made that shot if Urban Meyer was still working side by side with him on the big noon kickoff. Now, would he?
No.
Oh, Herbs
might.
Well, maybe. I mean, Herb might be tired. He might have a long night out at the club or something, Aye. I'm telling you.
How are things going for Herbs down there in Duval County lately?
Look, I mean, there's talk. I mean, it's Twitter. It is what it is. I wish Twitter never existed.
What would you do with your time then?
I'd find somewhere else to troll people. But Twitter... So there's all the reports that keep coming on Twitter that, that there is the front office of the Jags is sitting back and they're really evaluating where they want to go. Like, you have a rare talent that came out. I know top quarterbacks come out of the draft every single year, but Trevor Lawrence was anointed the number 1 overall pick for this past year's draft 3 years ago when he won a national championship as a true freshman at Clemson. That night that he hoisted up that national championship trophy when they beat Alabama, that was the number 1 overall pick for 2021. I mean, it was just a given. In 2018, when they won, everyone knew that was the number 1 overall pick in 2021. It was just a matter of who was going to have the number 1 overall pick. And that front office knows what kind of guy they're dealing with. They know it's an Andrew Luck type of a specimen, right? At least as far as the aura and the expectations is concerned. And the organization is facing a lot of pressure for the development of that kid, and it's not happening. He's regressed as the season has gone on. And Urban Meyer, ultimately, that responsibility is on him and his coaching staff to have put him in position to succeed. Look, Joe Burrow played on a horrible team last year. Joe Burrow's numbers were solid last year. Trevor Lawrence has had some good games, and he's had a lot more bad games. And at this point of the season, you should be showing some progression. You should be getting better. You shouldn't be going back. And we've seen that. Like, you don't need your team to be winning games for rookie quarterbacks to be evaluated at a high level. I know. Mac Jones' numbers aren't popping off the page. It's not like he's a great gunslinging quarterback, Kevin, that's moving the ball up and down the field, but he's not making mistakes. He's making the plays that are being asked of him, and his team's winning, so he's being talked about more. Does anyone actually believe that Mac Jones has more pure talent in the NFL than a Trevor Lawrence, or at least from an expectation standpoint? No. So there's a lot of pressure there. I don't know what the future for Urban is in Jacksonville. Would you be surprised if we got to a point where you start hearing the words mutual split? Woo! Now, I'll give Urban this. Ever since his little night at the club, it's been quiet over in Jacksonville. It's either that or Shelley got off Twitter. I don't know which one has led to more time, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. The things going on down there in Duval County with him is just not good. And, I know he means well. I know he wants to win, no doubt about it. But, man, this got to be wearing on him, and it's got to be wearing on the organization as well. They got to be thinking to themselves, what did we get ourselves into here? Did we pick the right guy? Because, he has a track record of, especially down in Florida, when things aren't going his way, just get out of Dodge and go back to what he knows. And what he knows and what he does best is recruit and evaluate talent. And that's in the college game. And I never understood, man, these guys that get out of coaching and they go back to it. You look at guys like Bill Cowher, you look at guys like Jimmy Johnson, once they got to the analyst seat and say, oh, you know what I mean? Only got to work one day a week. I can watch as much football as I want and I get paid more money. I think I like this. I think I'll do this more. I think I'll do this forever. Because I remember when Bill Cowher retired, it was always rumors about him coming back. When Jimmy Johnson left the Cowboys and then went to the Dolphins for a little quick cup of coffee, it was always rumors of him coming back. Them dudes never came back. They sat back and enjoyed the good life and got fat checks at it too. I don't understand why these dudes want to get back into it, man. Herb, I don't know what you're doing, man. Go back to TV, man. Enjoy time with the family. Enjoy time with the grandkids. Enjoy time at the bar and get this money, dog. You don't need this stress. You don't need this stress. You don't need this, man. You're above this, man. Go get that money elsewhere.
Look, I have no problem with them wanting to cut. For one, they make it better. Mac Brown coming back, I don't know why that's a problem. That's good for college football. Would you like to see North Carolina actually figure it out? Yes. Coaches coming back is not a bad thing. I have no clue why that bothers you. It's better than half these no-name 12-year-olds getting jobs in the NFL. I'd rather Urban go down swinging in Jacksonville than Zach Taylor survive another day in Cincinnati. Zach Taylor's just prepping this team so they can go get a real coach to come in and take over whenever that time comes. Let's just be real. At this point, I have no clue why you're against these coaches coaching.
I ain't against it. I'm just saying, what's the point? What's the end game? What's the end game?
But they love to do that. That's what they want to do. I have no clue why that's a problem. If they want to come back, come back. Urban back in college. College would be so much better with Urban Meyer back in the college level. Florida, his seat is waiting for him. Come back to Florida. It's great for the SEC. It's great for college football. It's great for Ohio State to have that. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to be very interesting to see how all that pans out, to see what the future is with Urban Meyer. I'm not saying I want him to fail in Jacksonville, but the only reason I wouldn't mind it failing in Jacksonville is because, hey, it will open up the door for him to, be able to maybe possibly come back to Florida. I don't know. That's really what's interesting to me as far as what the future is that's concerned. So I'm getting word that, big news out of the Big Ten. Big news out of the Big Ten. Speaking of coaches, we keep talking about these coaches that go away and then come back. I don't know if this coach is going anywhere. We'll talk about that on the other side. Big news out of the Big Ten. 518-1410. We'll also pick up with your phone calls on the other side as well. But this is huge news that can impact the Buckeyes moving forward. We'll talk about that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Happy holidays don't just happen on their own. You make them happen with a little help from new appliances at the Home Depot. Because warm wishes won't roast that turkey. You'll want a new convection oven for that. An air fryer will help make the season light and delicious. And while you're at it, consider a new LG or Samsung fridge that's big enough to hold all kinds of Christmas cheer. Make the holidays yours with the season's best savings on top appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's Black Friday now at JCPenney. Hurry and shop thousands of the merriest Black Friday deals while they last. Make spirits bright with up to 75% off fine jewelry. Get innovative with sharper image gifts now up to 50% off. Plus, take home kitchen appliances for $7.99 each after $10 mail-in rebate. Score these deals and more all week long before they're gone. Happy Black Friday, JCPenney. Offers valid on select items 11/22 through 11/28. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Save on your next project during Menard's last 11% rebate sale of 2021. Update your home with a Mastercraft door built just for you. Start a bathroom remodel and save on a new vanity. Update your kitchen with the largest in-stock appliance selection to take home today at the lowest prices. Menard's last 11% rebate sale of 2021 is good through Wednesday, November 24th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Take home Frickers Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
Black Friday is finally here, and Rural King has deals that can't be beat. Like 20% off all boots, or a 4-foot LED shop light, just $14.99. Or how about a 14-foot trampoline for $199.99? Or 20-pound bags of gourmet grill pellets, just $4.99 each. Black Friday deals only last Wednesday through Saturday. So shop 4 days of unbeatable deals at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
Hey parents, good news. Kids ages 5 to 11 are eligible for a COVID vaccine. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Call It Propane has been serving the Buckeye Nation in the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Let our family help protect your family from old man winter. Find out why 98% of our customers would recommend us to friends and family. Ask about the service options at 937-372-9194.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Call It Propane and Call It Seal Coating are proud to serve the Buckeye Nation.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Take home Frickers Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
Bags under your eyes? That's junk sleep. And Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Black Friday sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All of these teams in college football that go out and fire their head coaches mid-season because they want to get a jump start on the coaching search. It doesn't make any sense to me why teams do that. Like, I know there's some scenarios where you got to fire your coach because, one more second of that guy's presence in the locker room, like it'll lead to mass exodus of players. Like, some programs fire coaches mid-season to salvage a season and to salvage a roster so that you don't have a mass exodus of players. I mean, there's mass exodus of players in the transfer portal on good teams, and some players leave who got good playing time worth where they're at. So it's a very delicate balance of trying to make a decision that doesn't just benefit one or two individuals, but the program as a whole, whether it be college basketball or college football. But so many big programs have fired coaches with the hopes of filling those vacancies with some big names out there, such as names as James Franklin, such as names, of course, of Mel Tucker, possibly even Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. Well, Mel Tucker, despite being rumored for a possible LSU job, the USC job, some big jobs, maybe some NFL jobs, Mel Tucker signed that huge, massive contract with Michigan State last week. That was one of the biggest storylines in college football last week. And you know what? That took his name right off the table. No, LSU's not wondering if they have a shot to go get Mel Tucker. USC's not wondering if they have a shot to get Mel Tucker. That's just kind of where we're at. So it's interesting because it's like when you are those programs, Mel Tucker got paid because, yes, he's done a great job of basically relaying the foundation of Michigan State football. They feel like they have a ground to stand on now, thanks to Mel Tucker, and they feel like they're trending in the right direction. Mel Tucker got paid because he's very good at what he does. I don't think that the money he's getting paid, that he is up there with the Sabans and the Dabos and the national championship winning head coaches. It's a little strange to me, but that's what Michigan State had to do to keep him as their head coach long-term and to keep him from taking the LSU or USC job and some of those others. So by firing your coach so early or letting it be known that you're firing, it has increased the urgency for those teams out there that have legitimate coaches who want to lay those coaches' contracts down so that they don't have to worry about being plucked. Well, James Franklin was another big name that was rumored to take an LSU job or a USC job as some of the big jobs out there. Penn State put an end to that. It was just announced, and I don't have any of the details as far as the contract's concerned, but James Franklin has just agreed to a 10-year extension with Penn State. So Mel Tucker's going to be around for quite some time. I'm really curious the financials of James Franklin. Did Mel Tucker set the bar as far as what James Franklin asked of Penn State? Say, hey, Mel Tucker, he's only been here for a cup of coffee, technically hasn't accomplished a damn thing from a winning standpoint. If he's getting $9.5 million a year, I want $9.5 million a year. I would have to assume it's relatively close to that ballpark. I think what we just watched is the market move. It just shifted. I think Mel Tucker shifted it, and I think now that's the starting point for all these coaches who want to stay put. The opportunity now that I see is this impacts the Bearcats greatly. Luke Fickell, I'll be very surprised if he's still with the Bearcats next season, mainly because if Mel Tucker got $9.5 million to be at Michigan State, Kev, if James Franklin gets $8 to $9.5 million to stay at Penn State longer, that's where I'm starting if I'm Luke Fickell. I'm saying, hey, you want me to leave Cincinnati? Mm-hmm. I want USC because the USC needs a splash higher. USC, you might as well have kept Helton at this point because it's going to be an underwhelming hire at this point. To be honest, I think James Franklin's a little underwhelming hire if you ask me. And James Franklin does what he always does, recruits well, builds the team up to have high expectations, and loses the games that he needs to win. Everyone bashes Harbaugh. Harbaugh just has a bigger name than James Franklin, so Harbaugh is a bigger talent or a bigger target. James Franklin is Jim Harbaugh. They're the same. They're the exact same. They lead good programs. They have high expectations every year, and every year they stub their toe against a team that they should beat that they don't, or they don't know how to win the games that they should. Most, obviously being Ohio State. All I know is, it's good for Penn State to keep James Franklin, but at the same time, it's gonna be like rewatching the same movie over and over and over and over. It's an exciting movie. It might be one of your favorite movies, but eventually it's gonna lose some of that excitement, that that desire to watch it. And I think James Franklin, I think that's a very interesting contract. I think Penn State knows that they had to keep him to keep Penn State going, but I don't think he's worth the money that he's most likely going to be getting, because what you got to pay coaches for what they're doing. And I don't know what these guys are doing other than the status quo of, well, we're going to win more games than we lose. We're going to recruit well, but we're not going to beat Ohio State. Okay, cool. Mel Tucker gets his money. He turns around the program, or at least makes you feel like it's on stable ground, and then gets blasted by 50 in the first half against Ohio State. Not that he should not have a job or be fired or should not have got the raise, but Mel Tucker got the job to keep him there, to establish a period of time for him to get more settled in. James Franklin, I have no problem with the Mel Tucker deal, Kev. The James Franklin one's weird to me. If I'm Penn State, I would have gambled with letting him go, to be quite honest with you, depending on what they paid him. If he's getting paid Mel Tucker money, I think Penn State, that's pretty damn funny. Michigan State paid Mel Tucker just to give themselves more time for him to kind of get his feet entrenched into the ground there a little bit more, because you feel like you're off to something special, but you don't know what the end result's going to be for Michigan State yet, but you feel like you're going in the right direction. That's worth $9.5 million a year if you're Michigan State, hoping that he can continue it. You know what you get with James Franklin. You're going to win games. You're going to recruit. You're just not going to win the big ones. And that's not an opinion. That's a fact. I mean, that's every single year. It's the same story with Penn State, and it's frustrating. I found this very interesting.
So the thing about James Franklin is they're trying to, from my vantage point, they're going with this stability. And that's what Clemson did. Dabo was at Clemson, I want to say 8 years before they won the national championship. He wasn't getting plucked. He wasn't the guy. And they weren't the program that they are today until like they started getting, those Deshaun Watson level quarterbacks and other guys like that, and the Hopkins at wide receiver and Mike Williams and stuff like that. I think they're going with the stability and that approach. If we're going to just let dudes walk after 5 years, then you'll never get a situation like that.
Real quick, sorry, Matthew on YouTube, thank you, $7.5 million. Not bad.
No, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Okay.
I wonder how much he was getting before, because that seems like something. I mean, we're talking about somebody else's money, what's reasonable or what isn't reasonable for coaching football, but it's not 9.5 if you're looking at it Penn State's perspective, like, we just got over.
Yeah, like I thought, but I also feel like James Franklin, James Franklin lost a little leverage the last couple of weeks. They lost, you lose to Michigan, you should have lost. Like, they lost some games they shouldn't. Now, they didn't get their banged up, but you're a 4-loss team. James Franklin went from being one of the biggest names on the market to now he lost kind of some leverage with 4 losses in that category, with 4 L's in the loss category. So I think he lost some leverage. But you got to wonder, he leaves Penn State. I don't know if James Franklin is as big a fish out there as what we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the season. Does the outcome of this season, did you think that watered down the aura of James Franklin in the market out there? I don't think USC is USC. Do you think James Franklin, when they announced we're bringing James Franklin from USC, I don't see USC doing cartwheels for hiring James Franklin. That's just me. Mel Tucker had at least this aura of, wow, you see that crap situation he took over? Look how quickly he turned that around. Imagine what he could do over here with more resources, with California, with this and that. I think Mel Tucker would have been a better hire anyways, but everyone kept talking about James Franklin, and I'm like, I just don't get all warm and fuzzy inside for James Franklin.
See, the difference between the pros and college football is a pro coach can go anywhere. A pro coach that's born in California, been under so-and-so, Andy Reid's coaching tree, he can leave Kansas City's as the offensive coordinator and go to Seattle Seahawks and be their new head coach if that was to happen. And nobody would say anything. But in college, you kind of have to have roots there. You kind of have to have some type of backing. And that's why the whole Matt Campbell thing is always related back to teams in the Big Ten. And, you really don't hear his name connected to USC and everything like that. You hear like, all right, maybe he'll take another job in the Big 12, a higher profile job in the Big 12, or maybe he'll come back to the Midwest where he's from and he has recruiting roots and things of that nature. You don't hear, that's why I'm not really buying this Luke Fickell to USC thing. He's never coached anywhere besides the Midwest. What connections does he have in California? Like, that's difficult for a coach to just walk into a high school in whatever county in California where he's never stepped a foot before. You don't have any connections. You're going to have to make connections, not only from the guys that you hire on your coaching staff, but you have to make connections in the high school as well. So if I'm USC, I'm trying to find somebody that's been connected to the program. And that's why I've always said that maybe Lane Kiffin is going to be the next USC head coach again, because he always gets great jobs. And this will be his second time around. And I think they will gamble on him basically learning his lessons, being at not Texas. He was at Tennessee and at Ole Miss, and obviously there with the Raiders and everything like that. I think that would be the best move for USC, to dip back into their past and grab a guy that definitely has connections, not only in California and having connections with the program prior to, but also now having connections and recruiting in Texas and the rest of the South.
And Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Penn State just announced that, well, I don't know about Penn State. I haven't seen it officially from Penn State, but on Twitter, the reports are going around that they've agreed, that Penn State has agreed to a 10-year extension with James Franklin, getting $7.5 million a year. And Ryan Day's name is trending right now as well, because everyone is screaming and hollering for, Ryan Day to finally get, move up that pay scale as well. Like, I don't care how much Ryan Day gets paid one way or another. I do think that what Ryan Day, there's never, Urban Meyer was never one of the highest paid coaches in college football when he was at Ohio State. I mean, he was paid well, but he was in that 6.5 or that 7.5, 8 range as well. I mean, it was Saban who was in the 9s and the 10s, and same, that's kind of where they're at now. But look, for me, it's pretty basic and simple. Like, when I hear Nick Saban makes that much money, it's like, well, yeah, the guy is a walking national championship. That makes sense to me. He's getting paid for what he's currently doing. He's getting paid for what he's done in the past, and he's getting paid for what he's, what he lays out in the future. Dabo Swinney's kind of the same way. Dabo Swinney's won a ton of national championships. He's getting paid for what he's done in the past. He's getting paid for what he's doing now, and what, they hope that he keeps doing moving forward. Where this target moves now is now you have Mel Tucker getting paid Nick Saban money for what they hope Mel Tucker does, and not so much Mel Tucker doing. But there is no set pay scale of, to make this money, you got to do this. Mm-hmm. But Mel Tucker had leverage there. Yeah. Michigan State is not a place that these big name head coaches are looking to flock to. All right. So because of that, he had leverage, and he used it to his advantage. Good for him. Some people in the comment section are saying that actually has not been finalized. That Mel Tucker has not. There is, I don't know. I'll look into that. But regardless, at this point, Ryan Day almost gets slightly, I don't want to say penalized, but I mean, there's no urgency in Columbus to raise his money, because it's like, okay, in Columbus, we have championship or bust expectations. It's, okay, Ryan Day's been here a few years. He's recruiting really well. He's winning a lot of games. He got to a national championship in year 2 as head coach of the Buckeyes. His payday is coming. You'd have to imagine, they're going to get to the playoffs this year, 3 straight playoff appearances. Whatever happens, that'll be interesting. Ryan Day's payday is coming, but it's like, Ryan Day, it's a privilege to be the coach at Ohio State. You will get your money when you prove that you can keep this program at the level that Urban had it, right? To where Mel Tucker, we're giving you the money up front because we expect you to get it to that point. And it's a different expectation at different programs, and same thing here. But Penn State, $7.5 million. That's all right. That's fair. It's good for him. Look, I know I don't feel bad for Ryan Day at $5.5 million. You think I feel bad for Ryan Day at $5.5 million with what we make here? Give me a break. I don't feel bad for anybody, but I do see the discrepancies in, oh man, he's making that much money and he hasn't even done half of what this coach over here has done. I could see why it's a talking point for some.
Yeah, I know where people come from that, but I mean, I'm much like yourself, man. Like, I'm not about to be over here squawking about dudes that's making millions of dollars while I'm making blank dollars.
Aye. All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Real quick, take a break for station identification. We're not going anywhere. Just give us 8 seconds.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, so other news out of the National Football League. I found this one interesting as we're getting into the latter portions of the season. The Browns have a couple Saturday night football games coming up, but the NFL was trying to decide what to do with this flex game situation. They had a couple games to pick from, and one of them did involve a Cincinnati Bengals game. So how about this one? The NFL they chose not to flex the Bengals and Chargers game on December 5th. Instead, they have decided to flex the Chiefs and the Broncos to Sunday Night Football. So they had a choice between Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and they picked Patrick Mahomes. So, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow is way better than Patrick Mahomes versus the Broncos. At least I think it would be. But hey, they went with the heavy hitter and Patrick Mahomes, I guess. That's not a good game. I mean, it's a chance to watch Patrick Mahomes. That's what they're thinking. Is that how big of a star Patrick Mahomes is? I mean, look, everything is numbers is justified by ratings. So
Right.
clearly the ratings indicate that Patrick Mahomes is a walking rating himself, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. You would think that Justin Herbert against a good quarterback and Joe Burrow would lead to a big rating, right? Like I would think it would lead to a better rating than Patrick Mahomes. But obviously the NFL, they're no need to question them. They're confident in their decision to put Patrick Mahomes in the Sunday Night Football game that night. So
KC is currently 7-4. Denver Broncos are 5-5, while the Cincinnati Bengals are 6-4, and the Chargers are 6-4. And let's just say they are both 500 until they play. Like those would be winning teams, definitely playing for their spot in the playoffs. We're predicting that the Broncos will be out of the playoff picture by that time. I don't understand that. I don't think I'll be watching that game.
It's because they didn't, I'm like, I was going to say they don't want a quarterback that threw for 140 yards on Sunday Night Football, but then again, you're going to pick the damn Broncos situation. I mean, my goodness. But look, in all seriousness, Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow, that's the matchup I would love to see in a primetime Sunday Night Football game. Patrick Mahomes, of course, I love watching Patrick Mahomes play, but I mean, I want to see him playing a good game. It could be a good game. And if it's a good game, I'm looking at the Chiefs as saying, hey, you're not playing a good game if it's a close game between you and the Broncos at that point. Who knows? 518-1410. Kev, who we have?
We have Charlie back online too.
Charlie, are you out of Michigan and have a better signal?
I'm back in Dayton, Ohio, baby.
Back from the city of dreams, huh?
That's right, Gem City.
All right.
You know what? I was just going to let it go. I called in, got bad service, whatever. But you took a shot at Zach Taylor. I can't let you
Zach
do
Taylor's
that.
no good, man. I'm sorry. That's not. That is a take of mine that has nothing to do with my dislike of the Bengals. If you don't think that, I think the Bengals would be better off with a different head coach. I really do. And I actually think that you can get a really good offensive coordinator and go get, and this is crazy, Bengals fans, you'll hate me for this. I've already hearing this name for the Bears job when it opens up, but Rex Ryan, I think that the Bengals need a coach that's going to give them an identity and give them a little personality. And I would love Rex Ryan with with a very good offensive coordinator to help Joe Burrow and let Rex Ryan, revamp that defense, because the weapons are there. The Bengals have the guys on defense. I just think they need somebody to really just kind of add a little flair and personality to this team. The Bengals need an identity, and right now it's just kind of Like, do you feel that like they need something else, right? They need that one final push. I don't know what it is, but I feel like coaching could be what really takes this unit to that next level. And I'm having a normal Bengals conversation, not hating. I just don't think it's Zach Taylor, man. I just don't.
What do you think about Kevin Stefanski?
I loved him last year, but he's clearly not pushing the right buttons. Like, mainly, I just want a coach that when you walk into the room, the team responds to you and everything like that. Like, the Bengals are winning games right now just on pure talent, but I still think that they need that one big push. So you're a Zach Taylor fan, huh? You think he's
Team, we have a better offense than yours. We have a better defense.
I'm trying to have a normal conversation, so if you're going to say stupid things, then I can go right back to acting how I normally do. Zach Taylor's trash. Zach Taylor's trash. You told me this, that they needed to go bring the offensive line coach back so that your running back can run the football.
He just ran for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Super.
I watched him do it. So
awesome. Hey, I'm a Browns fan. We have a better running back than you, so I don't know what you're bragging about yours for.
You have a good running back.
A good running back. So Joe Mixon is better than Nick Chubb? Really? Are we really going to go there right now?
You have a good running back. I didn't say one was better than the other.
It's not really a debate, though. I'm not even going to have that debate because we already know the answer. And that's, oh, man, Charlie, you've done did it.
I can't believe you're trashing Zach Taylor, though. That's crazy.
Look, this isn't a typical me trying to beat up on the Bengals thing. I just think they could upgrade a head coach.
Do you ever watch our team interviews? Do you know that we're the least penalized?
Yes,
and have the least
I've complimented that about them before.
NFL?
Absolutely.
What?
It's because they're not aggressive enough. I'm just joking. I'm giving you a hard time. I've complimented your little kitty cat team about how they don't jump off sides. It's amazing.
The Bengals are better than the Browns. They've been all year.
All year? Do you not remember that embarrassing ass-kicking that your team just took by those really bad Cleveland Browns team? Your team's a joke. Charlie, go away. Your team's a joke. Don't call in here with that. I was literally about Zach Taylor. I truly do not believe that he is the head coach of the future for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, they are 6-4. Yes, they are playing better football. I mean, you get a number, you start collecting enough of those high draft picks, you're going to start to sneak up on talent every once in a while. But if you guys say, so you don't think Eric Bieniemy would make this team better? I keep hearing people complain about the play calling for the Bengals all the time, and we're going to sit here and talk about, well, the running back got really good why? Because they added the offensive line coach that didn't even make the offensive line is better, so I guess I can't go there, but he has me so flustered right now because then he started taking, Nick Chubb, he's a good running back. Nick Chubb's just a good little running back. Give me a freaking break. Joe Mixon was nowhere to be found for 2 years and has a good little 10-game stretch, and now all of a sudden they're talking smack. You got to be kidding me.
Thought you weren't going to go there.
I wasn't going to go there. I really had no intentions of going there. Zach Taylor, Sean Bolin says Taylor isn't great. I'll gladly take Eric. That's exactly. So Doug Toby says, so you don't see the team chemistry and lack of penalties and good discipline. Super. They don't jump off sides and they play checkers in the locker room. Super. That's awesome. Give him an extension. I would think the Bengals fans would want just that next big head coach to kind of take them over. Do you guys really look at Zach Taylor and think that that's the guy? Kevin Stefanski had one good year in Cleveland last year. I was a believer. I could see the struggles with the team, and even I could point out that I think Stefanski's still the guy, but I still think out there, if you had a choice, if Zach Taylor and Kevin Stefanski were, and that's even with Stefanski's struggles right now, if both are available to every NFL team out there that needs a head coach, how many of them you actually think are going to pick Zach Taylor over Kevin Stefanski? I'll wait. I'll wait. Well, if you want your team to play checkers and get along in the locker room, he's your guy. Give me a break. Wasn't even trying to get into a Bengals debate today. Look, they're playing good football. They had a huge win against the Raiders over the weekend. Zach Taylor has done a good job. They have, they were patient with him. He lost a ton of games to start, but let's not get, look, you've won 6 games heading into the tail end of November. Super. Let the season kind of play out. Where does this season go? They get a big playoff win. They make the playoffs. Okay. That gives him a little extra shelf life. They win in the playoffs, definitely gives him some extra shelf life. But let's stop acting like because the team sings Kumbaya in the locker room that all of a sudden that's why you give an extension to Zach Taylor. Stop. You guys are easy to satisfy. You win 6 games in 2 years, and you're like, well, we just got to give him time. You win 6 games before you even get to December, and now you want to anoint him the best head coach in football because, they play checkers in the locker room. You guys, my goodness, raise your standards a bit. It's insane and embarrassing, and I can't believe you got me fired up today. I had no intentions of being fired up today. I'm going to calm down. We'll be back in a moment.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be clear and sunny, a high near 42. Tonight will be mainly clear and cold, a low around 30. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 52. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces at your home, office, or commercial property. Introducing infrared patching, a new technology for your property. This service and more at culletsealcoating.com.
Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 for reliable Lennox products that can make the air in your home absolutely perfect. Ohio license number 14911.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Happy holidays don't just happen on their own. You make them happen with a little help from new appliances at the Home Depot. Because warm wishes won't roast that turkey. You'll want a new convection oven for that. An air fryer will help make the season light and delicious. And while you're at it, consider a new LG or Samsung fridge that's big enough to hold all kinds of Christmas cheer. Make the holidays yours with the season's best savings on top appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's Black Friday now at JCPenney. Hurry and shop thousands of the merriest Black Friday deals while they last. Make spirits bright with up to 75% off fine jewelry. Get innovative with sharper image gifts now up to 50% off. Plus, take home kitchen appliances for $7.99 each after $10 mail-in rebate. Score these deals and more all week long before they're gone. Happy Black Friday, JCPenney. Offers valid on select items 11/22 through 11/28. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
You need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, a potential sign of flu or COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Exergen Temporal Scanners are available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Hunting season has returned at Field & Stream, and there's no better time to stock up on your favorite essentials. Get everything you need for your next outdoor adventure from Spy Point, Sitka, Browning, 10-Point, Winchester, and more top brands. Find the perfect gift for the outdoor enthusiast on your list. Explore our wide assortment of quality gear from the brands you trust and discover exclusive holiday deals in store and online at fieldandstreamshop.com. Give the gift of adventure this holiday season. Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
We worked together at the hospital, so we started going to Skyline. It was a place that we could decompress and relax, and it always made the day so much better. It's harder now to get together, kids, family, and jobs, but when we go to Skyline, that's our place. It's always a good feeling at Skyline. Yeah. You get all the good feels.
Skyline Chili is now hiring. Apply online at skylinechili.com/careers.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda Beaver Creek. Our technicians have over 125 years of total experience. That means we can repair your vehicle correctly and efficiently. So when you need a dependable body shop, we're here. And we repair all makes and models with new state-of-the-art equipment to get you back on the road quickly. Plus, we offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Stop by and see us. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, State Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
It's Menard's last 11% rebate sale of 2021. Receive local HD digital broadcast for free with an RCA antenna. Also, don't forget to pick up the latest RCA audio-video cables, including digital HDMI, coaxial, or computer Ethernet. All RCA antennas and audio-video accessories are 11% off during Menard's last 11% rebate sale of 2021. Good until November 24th. Savings or mail-in rebates, some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Buckman's D&D Harley-Davidson and Xenia has gifts for everyone on your list this year. November 24th, 26th, and 27th. Take 20% off licensed products, 10% off aftermarket non-Harley-Davidson parts, and have those incredible gifts wrapped and ready to go with free gift wrapping. Get those names checked off your list and give them what they really want this year, the gift of Harley-Davidson. Buckman's D&D Harley-Davidson, online at buckmansdnd.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big when you call 8338-ROCKET today. For example, with a $250,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you could get a new low rate under 3%. If your current rate is over 3.75%, you could lower your payment by over $100 a month, saving thousands in interest. But you've got to act now, because no one knows how long these low rates will last. So when you need a simple way to get big savings, Rocket can. Call us today at 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Refinance offer assumes a rate of 2.99%, 3.21% APR, 70% loan-to-value ratio for the cost of 1.75 points. $4,375 due at closing. Monthly payment of $1,052.66. Taxes and insurance not included. Payment will be greater. Rates current as of 7/26/21. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Black Friday even earlier at Lowe's with deals on drills, impact drivers, and decor. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Friendsgiving is going to be a little different this year because Capital One's The Match is back on TNT this Thanksgiving weekend with its best edition yet. The fifth installment of this one-of-a-kind event pits two of golf's most intense rivals, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka, against one another in a head-to-head showdown. Watch all the action unfold from the Wynn Las Vegas, November 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern on TNT. You're not going to want to miss this.
My stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Ooh, let me try it.
Try Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Or online at lanceroofing.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Look, Kev, there's a lot of things I say about the Bengals that I'm like, oh, that's going to tick somebody off. I really didn't know that Zach Taylor was a fan favorite in Cincinnati. Seriously. I had no idea. Like, I really don't think it's that much of a hot take. Like, you got to understand, like, what was Zach Taylor? Let me ask you, Kev, because you're non-biased here, like one way or the other. You're in the middle. Although you might be a little biased because you have the Bengals this week. But anyways. Why was Zach Taylor brought to Cincinnati? And don't say to win football games because that's a given. That's a given for any coach. But what made Zach Taylor an interesting candidate for the Bengals?
Offense.
The Sean McVay coaching tree, correct? Like that's what he was supposed to do was be here. To come here and bring that offensive scheme, bring that offensive mindset, and let this team hit the ground running. And everyone out there is so infatuated with, Zach Taylor, look, he's doing such a fantastic job. The team has improved because, the team spent $200+ million on the defensive side of the ball, which is why you beat the Raiders over the weekend. And I will say, and Kev, you could back me up here. About a month ago, I said, actually, you want to know what's most impressive about the Bengals is the fact, and I said I was jealous of this about the Bengals with the Browns. The Bengals do not jump off sides. Like, they're disciplined as hell. Like that's crazy. Yes, you could say coaching, but like I also think that the players have a lot to do with that as well. Like, yes, it is coaching, don't get me wrong, but like the Browns, my goodness. I mean, is it Kevin Stefanski? Is Kevin Stefanski why the team jumped? The Browns were I think like I know they were in the bottom 10 as far as most penalized teams last year, and they're the most penalized team this year. Okay. I think there's not a whole lot of team chemistry going on with look, the Cleveland Browns, they've been decimated by injuries. That's not an excuse. That's a reason. If you can't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. The penalties, though, I don't care. If you're fourth and fifth string, you should know better. That's a problem with the Browns. Okay, I can give the Bengals credit for not jumping off sides. Super. That's awesome. And that's going to win you a lot of football games. But you're still only 6-4, so it's not like it's winning you a ton of football games. But I would rather be the team that doesn't commit penalties a ton than the Cleveland Browns, who are a walking freaking penalty. I mean, my goodness, they were imploding against the Lions of all teams. I'm very well aware at how important it is to not be a penalty-driven team. Get it. But Zach Taylor was brought over to be an offensive-minded head coach. This was supposed to – you have Joe Mixon, who I give credit to, is one of the top running backs in the league. Now, I know this. I don't need y'all defending Joe Mixon to me. I know how good Joe Mixon is. I was actually, outside of the stuff he did off the field that made my stomach hurt, I've always said from a football standpoint, I was a huge fan of Joe Mixon. When the Bengals drafted him, I said, if they could survive the crap storm that they're going to get for selecting him, it's going to pay off. I've always been a big advocate of Joe Mixon, so I don't need anybody trying to tell me that I'm hating on Joe Mixon, because I'm not. I know the guy's good. He's not better than Nick Chubb, and that's okay. He doesn't have to be better than Nick Chubb for the Cincinnati Bengals to be effective. That's great. So let's get on past that, because I'm not a Joe Mixon hater. He's one of the few Bengals I really, really like, to be quite honest with you. The dude can play. So with that being said, Zach Taylor was brought over to lead an air attack. It was supposed to be like what we're watching with Matthew Stafford. Is Matthew Stafford better than Joe Burrow?
Yes.
Okay. Matthew Stafford.
Even though I'm not a big Stafford fan.
Would Bengals fans agree? Bengals fans, is Stafford better than Joe Burrow? I believe and know he is, but I'm just curious because I never know with you guys anymore. I didn't think saying Zach Taylor was not a great coach. I don't think Zach Taylor is the worst coach. My view on him is not as drastic as it was a year ago. Anytime you can be a part of the turnaround of a team, you're clearly doing something right, but it doesn't mean, hell, Doug Collins was a great coach for the Chicago Bulls, but he wasn't enough to get them to where they needed to go. Boom, you bring in Phil Jackson, there you go. That's always the easiest of examples right there to show that you could be a good coach, but you may not be the coach that's going to take your team where they need to go. And I do believe that is Zach Taylor. He's a guy that's just okay. He's all right.
Interim.
Hey, guys. Thank you. That was great. Right. Sean Bowen says right now, yes. Oh, stop. Right now, yes. Right now, yes. I don't know if Joe Burrow will be better than him at some point. Like, Joe Burrow is on the same progression as Baker Mayfield was, and you told me that Baker has been crap since he got to the league. So your judgment is all flawed, Bengals fans. I'm just going to say this. But Zach Taylor was brought to the Bengals to lead this offensive attack. And let's go through this, shall we? You have Joe Burrow, who you guys think is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay? Got a little mold on that bread, but it's moldy. You got your quarterback, right? Joe Burrow is God. You have Jamar Chase. You have Tyler Boyd. You have T. Higgins. You have Joe Mixon. You have Riley Reif now. You have Jackson Carman. You have, you have all of this talent on the offensive side of the ball. You told me that. You convinced me of that. I have seen that this year. So how do you, and by the way, you have way more outside. The Browns have the offensive line and the running back. You guys have everything else. You've told me that. So why isn't the offense better? Why isn't Joe Burrow better? And don't give me the whole, he's a rookie. He's not a rookie anymore. He's 20 games into his career. This is the NFL. You're expected to be great right away. Maybe not the first 8 games of your career. You're 20 games in. You're a veteran now. Get over it. You don't get to use the young quarterback excuse anymore. Okay? Let's just be real. All right? So let's get that out of the way. Now, who are the Bengals offensively? Oh, they got Joe Mixon. They got Jamar Chase. They got Tyler Boyd. They got T. Higgins. They got Joseph Burrow, baby. They got this great offensive line. They are 18th in total offense. And your head coach is Zach Taylor, who's supposed to be Sean McVay 2.0. You're 18th in total offense. You're 15th in total passing. How can you be 15th in total passing when you got Joseph Burrow, baby? Joseph Burrow, you got T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd, you got Jamar Chase. How are you 15th in total passing? That doesn't make any sense. You want to know what's interesting? The Browns, as bad as Baker Mayfield has been, Kev, the Browns are 22nd in the league in passing. How are you within an arm's reach of the Bengals at 15? I don't get that. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. That doesn't make any damn sense to me, but that's where we're at. Let's see, total rushing on the season offensively. Kev, Joe Mixon's been great, but the team as a whole is 22nd in the league in total rushing.
Give me some teams that are around them.
Let me pull it up. Great radio right here. So total yards rushing.
You should have had that on deck. You know, those are the type of questions I like to ask. I
got my notes. I got my.
I need more. I love context.
So the Bengals have the Chargers and the Seahawks around them. The Chargers are directly in front of them. The Seahawks are behind them. They got the Jaguars have more rushing yards on the season than the Bengals do. The Jaguars. And to be fair, the Jaguars do have a good run, but like they've been beat up by injuries. You know, that's right. The Lions have more rushing yards on the season than the Cincinnati Bengals.
Swift got busy the last 2 weeks. He got busy versus
Cleveland.
Got busy versus the Steelers. Popped like, I want to say, like a 60-yard run versus Steelers. Got y'all for a nice big run. You know, shouts out to Swifty.
So the passing wise, this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They are a better passing team than the Cincinnati Bengals. How? So spare me with Zach Taylor. They don't jump off sides. Give him an extension. Guys, this isn't even I'm bashing Joe Burrow and company. All I'm telling you is that you should be expecting more at this point. This offensive line has done a way better job this year protecting Joe Burrow. He has weapons all over the place. He has more weapons than Lamar Jackson. So you mean to tell me that Riley Reif and all the guys you added, so that improved offensive line, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow, with a coach that was brought over to be the heir apparent to Sean McVay. You mean to tell me that Lamar Jackson and that crap offense that the Ravens have, somehow they have a better passing attack than you? And you are, and folks, I had no intent. This was not in my rundown today. I just couldn't believe that Charlie went off on me about Zach Taylor. I didn't think that, I thought the jury was still out on Zach Taylor. And let me give respect where respect is due. They are doing better than I thought they were going to do this year. So I have to give Zach Taylor some props, but I don't think that just because they are doing better than people thought this year, or maybe a year ahead of schedule, that means Zach Taylor's the coach of the future, because you do got to start asking yourself, okay, you do have a ton of offensive explosiveness. Why are you ranked where you're at? Offensive play calling has been a criticism of this team since the very beginning. I believe they should be even better. I believe that they should be better than this. If Joe Burrow is who you guys tell me he is, which I've been telling you he's not, but you've been telling me he is, if he's who you say he is, if T. Higgins, is T. Higgins very good?
Yes.
Bengals fans would tell you he's really, really good. Is Tyler Boyd really good?
Yes.
Jamar Chase, he's been beyond good. How are they 15th in this? How are they 15th in total passing, 18th in total offense, 22nd in total rushing? I don't get that. Here's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, Kev, did you know that they are 7th in total offense?
I did know that.
That's not, Kevin Stefanski, so Zach Taylor's the worst coach in his own division. So, and it's a competitive division. There's worse divisions to be the worst coach in that division in, let's be real. But look, I wasn't I'm piling it on Zach Taylor now, but I'm trying to prove a point. The point is you guys think I'm so mean and so horrible, and I probably am a horrible radio host. And when I'm fired by the end of the year, we'll look back at these conversations and say, well, that's because he didn't shut up about the Bengals. That's why they let him go finally. But the bottom line is this. Don't come at me with, they don't jump off sides. Super. You know how many coaches would kill to have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and even that offensive line right now? You think that? I think that the Lions head coach could do if the Lions coach, if that dude, kneecap guy, if he can get that team to be as competitive as they are, imagine what he would do with the roster with talent like the Bengals. Like, that's what I don't understand. You guys need to be expecting more, and it's okay to want and expect more. If I could point that out, I'm acknowledging you have talent. I'm acknowledging that the talent is there. I'm not even hating. I'm questioning. I feel like there should just be more to be desired for. That's all. Like, that's the problem I have. The Browns, who have been a complete dumpster fire this year, are still sitting at 6-5. Kevin Stefanski, despite all of the injuries, all of the drama with Odell Beckham Jr., all of the drama with Baker Mayfield, all of that, has the Browns at 6-5. Sure, last place, if you want to position it that way to fuel your narrative of how bad they are. Yes, the last place Cleveland Browns, who are still within they go on 1-2 week stretch. They have the Ravens coming up the next 2 weeks, or 2 of the next 3 with the bye week in between. The Browns, who are so bad and in last place, they could be in first place like that. Like that. The Bengals lose to the Steelers this come up weekend. It's the Browns, and the Browns beat the Ravens. The Browns and the Steelers are right at the top of the division again. That's how. So don't spare me with the last place stuff, because that doesn't mean anything. The Bengals went from number 1 in the AFC, the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, to last place with 1 loss to, yes, you know it, the Cleveland Browns. So don't give me the last place stuff. Kevin Stefanski has actually been more impressive this year, considering everything that's been piled up against him.
Everything.
And by the way, I think Kevin Stefanski has done a horrible job this year even though he's done a great job at the same time. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. This team, the Browns should be way worse than what they are, and the Bengals should be way better. And I think that says more about Kevin Stefanski than it does about Zach Taylor. And that's not a hot take. That's not a Browns, fanboy bashing the Bengals. If you really think about it, if Baker Mayfield is as bad as you guys all say, and he's bad, right? If he's as bad as you all say, and this team is as bad as you all say, why is it that they are statistically right up there with who you guys are as a team? Such a great year for you. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to yes, it's a debate and it's back and forth, but you started it. We were supposed to be talking Reds right now. We were supposed to be talking college football playoff rankings and all that stuff. That's what we were supposed to be doing today. Y'all brought me here. All because I said Zach Taylor, that I would love to see an upgraded head coach. Like that, to me, is what's missing of taking the Bengals to that next level. And then I back it up with this obvious stuff, and you guys are still coming at me. I don't think I've said one thing that's inaccurate. In fact, I'm using stats to back it up. You're using penalties. You talked about how, and then one fan, I think it was Doug Toby on here, said, well, there's a lot to be said about all the penalties and how they don't commit penalties. The Raiders imploded over the weekend. So are you saying that you didn't beat the Raiders, that the Raiders beat themselves then? Because that would make more sense than the number 22nd total rushing team in the league beating them. And that would make more sense than the 18th total offense in the league beating them. That would make a lot of sense. But I was told, Kev, when the Browns win and Baker Mayfield has a stat line of about 200 or less, well, they only win because of the defense and the offense. The quarterback's no good. But when Joe Burrow throws for 140 and Joe Mixon has all those touchdowns and runs all over the field and the defense wins, then it's like, oh, well, they didn't need Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got to take the day off. That's what my favorite is. Joe Burrow's holding back. He's holding something back. Give me a break. Give me a break of that. 518-1410. Yep, good. Will on Facebook says, good old Uncle Charlie, gas on the fire. Yes, he's to blame. Charlie. Blame him. Sean also says, nobody cares about the Reds right now. So there's
sure
that. It is, Nolan Russell, the jury is still out. Quit making generalizations about Bengals fans. No, when the majority of them are as loud as they are, then I need to hear from, if you're saying you're not crazy like these Bengals fans, then I need to hear more from you. I hear more from the Charlies and the Doug Tobys of the world. That's who I hear from. So until I hear from more of you, Doug Toby says, trying to have a balanced offense. It's a work in progress. You've been here for 3 years. You don't get a work in progress. It's the NFL. It's the NFL. You don't get a work in progress. I mean, you dropped Kevin Stefanski on the Browns last year and it was instant. Actually, it wasn't technically instant. It was 8 games. You're 10 games in, 11 games in. Instant. 518-1410. We'll be back in just a moment. I know we got some callers on hold. We'll get to you guys right away. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the day you've been waiting for. Get more OMG deals on premium brands with eBay's exclusive deals. Let's turn this Black Friday into the best Friday ever. Get more when you get it on eBay.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Black Friday is finally here, and Rural King has deals that can't be beat, like 20% off all boots, or a 4-foot LED shop light, just $14.99. Or how about a 14-foot trampoline for $199.99? Or 20-pound bags of gourmet grill pellets, just $4.99 each. Black Friday deals only last Wednesday through Saturday, so shop 4 days of unbeatable deals at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
Take home Fricker's Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're paying too much for cell service. It's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. I know what you're thinking. How do they do that? Pure Talk doesn't have thousands of retail stores and overhead that you have to pay for. And they don't charge you for the added perks that you never use. You can keep your phone number and keep your phone or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
Bags under your eyes? That's junk sleep. And Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Black Friday sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
The original stuffed crust from Pizza Hut is so cheesy you'll want to eat it backwards. But what if we played this song backwards?
One topping is $12.99.
No one out-pizzas the Hut. Ask for a limited time offer. Not available in some locations. Exclusions apply. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
At CDW, we get new work environments can bring new distractions.
My kitchen is my new office. It's also home to our new family smoothie machine.
While CDW experts can pre-configure Dell Latitude 9000 series laptops with built-in AI that learns how users work to minimize disruptions and help you and your organization stay productive. Ooh, even when life gets messy.
I'll get the hose.
For technology that helps you adapt, trust Dell Technologies and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
Bags under your eyes? That's junk sleep. And Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Black Friday sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
Who's going to win on Sunday? Black and yellow, just say it.
I hope so.
I know so. You don't have anyone healthy? The Bengals are so lucky. Every time they play your Steelers, they don't have any of that damn pass rush. I'm telling you.
Let's see. TJ Watt, questionable.
Of course he is.
Stephon Tuitt, out.
Of course he is. Minka's will be back from what I heard.
Minka hopefully will be back. Joe Hayden hopefully back. Helps a lot.
You got this two-faced thing going on, by the way.
Oh,
there we go.
Hopefully they'll be back. But you know what? Watching that game on Sunday Night Football versus Chargers, removing my Steeler fandom, what a game. What a game. Like, it was super entertaining watching, Herbert go up and down the field. Like, yo, this dude is real good. And then, watching special teams make a play, blocking a punt, then defense making a play, Cameron Hayward tipping the ball, Cameron Sutton getting the interception, setting up 2 big touchdowns for the Steelers to get back into it. Big Ben dicing it up. Deontay breaking long runs and everything like that. Taking the lead after being down 17 points in the fourth quarter, only to watch, blown coverage. Touchdown, Chargers. And I was like, that's all she wrote, because yet 2 offensive linemen got hurt during that game. And then Joey Bosa had a flashback to the Buckeye days and just, I'm going to sack you twice, and that's going to be the ball game, Ben.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
By the way, so Will Limmer, I'm assuming is his last name on Facebook, says, I need to relax and be like Kev. In fact, he goes on to say that he wants to print a shirt. He goes, I might get a printed shirt like that for you. Be like Kev.
I'll send you a picture.
I tell you what, Will. You get me a shirt that says be like Kev, and I will continue acting like Kenner wearing the shirt that says be like Kev. But I will wear the shirt. You get the shirt. I wear size large, just for anyone out there that wants to give me some for Christmas this year. Like, I went from like extra large. I have no clothes that fit hardly at all. If you wonder why I wear the same damn things every freaking day, it's because I'm poor. I'm buying a house right now. I have no extra money, and I have to wear the same 4 shirts because I only have 4 shirts that fit. Everything else was extra large, and they like comes down to like just above my knees on everything, which I'm 5'5". So you can imagine how even more silly that looks. So I'm just saying, Will, you get the shirt and I'll wear it.
That's awesome.
Be like Kev. It's as good as it will be worn on this show.
What should people get you as a housewarming gift?
Shirts that say be like Kev.
Fruit basket.
I don't want anything from anybody. He goes, you're on, man. # believe Kev. So, okay, I'm assuming I'm going to get a large shirt that says # believe Kev or be like, oh no, not believe Kev. It's be like Kev. I can't read. Holy hell. I pulled a Mikey.
Beauty.
I wonder if we'll ever hear from Mikey again.
I'm sure we will.
I wonder if we'll ever hear from Mikey again. I really do. Yeah.
I'm positive we will.
I almost called him out right there to call in, but I'm going to give him time to cool down. He called me a fat ass. Twice. I wish we had the audio. We do have the audio.
We do.
I'll save the audio for next week.
Go to my Twitter if you want to see the interaction.
Actually, yes. If you give Kev Nash, a follow on Twitter at @1KevNash, he has the video of Mikey just literally going off on me and me going off on him all over UD.
I'll repost it, or what do you do? Retweet it or pin it. There you go.
There you go, Grandpa. There we go.
Adrian Peterson has been waived by the Titans, by the way.
Oofa.
Hall of Famer.
It was cool seeing him have a chance. We knew. I mean, it was a long shot, but if there's ever a running back that you thought could just, between Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore,
right,
those are 2 running backs that just defy the. That was an exciting look.
Did you see Frank Gore's son? He plays running back for Southern Miss.
No, what happened?
He plays running back for it. So all 4 of their scholarship quarterbacks were out hurt, and then their like walk-ons were out. He was playing quarterback for them and threw 2 touchdowns.
Good for it. Next man up.
Next man. And
I've been trying to tell Kev all year. Kev's always like, oh no, all these injuries on the defense, we're doomed. And I'm like, nah, Kev, just next man up.
Next man up, baby.
Next man up. That's for sure. If you're just joining us, we're going to get to the calls to close out the show now. Look, there's a lot of times where I try to force feed the Bengals stuff. I had no intention of really talking heavy Bengals today, but Charlie got mad because he goes, oh, you took a shot at Zach Taylor. I'm like, first of all, when you're Zach Taylor, who's done absolutely nothing, and you've won 6 games in 2 years coming into this season, I don't think it counts. I don't think there's such thing as taking shots at somebody like that who hasn't accomplished anything. The Bengals have had a good run to this point of the season. There's a great win. Look, when your quarterback struggled the way Burrow did this past weekend, and they still put up 30, and they still won, and they won on the road, I'm not going to take that away. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And Zach Taylor is pushing enough of the right buttons. I get that, but I don't think he's pushing all of the right buttons. I don't think. Let me ask you this, Bengals fans, in all seriousness, do you believe Zach Taylor is getting the most out of this team? Because I don't. Because the fact that their defense has played as well as they have, the fact that Joe Mixon has played as well as he has, the fact that they don't turn the ball, well, they do turn the ball over, but the fact that they don't jump off sides, that they're the least penalized team in football. There's a lot of reasons why the Bengals should be better than what they are. The Bengals should not be 2 games above 500 at this point. They should not be like they should be the ones at the top of this division looking down at everybody else. That's the thing that baffles me. I do not believe Zach Taylor has got the most out of this offense. And let's be clear, this has been a very healthy team. You're going to have guys that miss times, here and there, but overall they haven't been wiped out at different position groups. They haven't been obliterated, with multiple big names out. They have been lucky to be healthy this year, considering they lost their franchise quarterback last year for the entire year around this time last year. They've been fairly healthy. The fact that the Cleveland Browns are even within a game of the Cincinnati Bengals speaks more about the struggles of the Bengals. You say, they're playing well. I say, hey, they should be well ahead. If they're so much better than the Browns, the fact that the Browns are 6-5 right now, considering all of the injuries and all of the drama with OBJ and all of the drama with Baker, as poorly as he's played, my goodness, the Browns should not even be a game. They shouldn't even be 500, much less a game above 500, much less a game within striking distance in this division at this point. So Kevin Stefanski, who I'm ripping, I'm sitting back thinking, he's actually done a pretty damn good job, all things considered, considering all of the moving parts, all of the drama, all of the injuries. That's not an excuse. That's a reason, by the way. At the end of the day, like Stefanski has done a better job this year with this beat up, mangled Browns team than what Zach Taylor has done with this Bengals team, who has been very healthy. So when I brought this up, Zach Taylor was brought over to lead an offense, to be an explosive offense. Right, that's why he was hired at 12 years old, was to use what he gained to use what knowledge he gained from Sean McVay to implement it here in Cincinnati. And he hasn't done that. The Bengals are 18th in total offense, an offense with Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase, and with an improved offensive line. You guys love bragging about how little he's been sacked this year. Okay, then what's your excuse for why the offense is ranked 18th in the NFL? Why is Joe Burrow the god of football, the guy that Tom Brady calls for advice? Why is the Bengals offense 15th in total passing? I'll wait. Oh, Joe Mixon, he's so dang great. Charlie tried telling me he was just as good, if not better, than Nick Chubb. Really? Then why is the Bengals rushing attack 22nd in the National Football League? I'd love to know. And you guys tell me how bad the Browns are. The Browns offense is trash. Baker's trash. They're 7th in the NFL in total offense. 7th. They're first in rushing. Nick Chubb, who's you could take out, Nick Chubb, place in Joe Mixon, and the Browns are just as good. No, that's not true. Nick Chubb is the Cleveland Browns. We know that. We all know. I even know that. As much as I love Baker, I know that the Browns are nothing without Nick Chubb. Very simple. The Browns are 22nd in total passing. How are there 10 teams worse than Baker Mayfield in this passing attack by the Browns? That amazes me. But what amazes me is that Joe Burrow, again, the guy that Tom Brady calls for advice, Patrick Mahomes said that, he wanted to be a quarterback because of Joe Burrow. That's how good Joe Burrow is. How is the Browns' offensive passing attack even within reach of the Cincinnati Bengals? How are they 22nd and the Bengals 15th? How are they within the same ballpark of one another? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. So, again, Bengals fans, you started it. I had no intentions of talking Bengals today, but I just wanted to leave it right there. That's all. So there's that. Doug Toby says, you're right. They should have beat the Jets and Bears 8-2. Yes. And to be honest, with as beat up as the Browns were, and with all the drama with OBJ, they should have, with the Browns at home even. And all the Browns were distracted all week. They were answering questions. They weren't thinking about football that week. And they didn't just beat you, they annihilated you. Those are 3 games. They should have beat the Browns. I was nervous. Kev, I tried to get out of the bet. Why did I try to get out of the bet? Because I was nervous. I didn't think that the Browns were going to beat the Bengals as much crap as I talked. That's all. I'm just saying. This started because I questioned Zach Taylor on something and everyone jumped on my case. I'm like, are you kidding me? 3 times this. Oh my God. I just did this. 4. I said 3 times.
Tom Brady.
That's it. Holy crap. I'm done. Holy crap. Holy crap, that was embarrassing. 3 times as I put up 4 fingers. That was great. Anyways, 3 times today, I tried to make a slight dig at the Bengals. Nobody caught it. None. Nobody jumped on me for it. The one time I was not taking a dig at the Bengals, I was just pointing out that Zach Taylor, I think that the Bengals should look to improve there. All of a sudden, it was like I made a Jesus joke in church. I don't get it. Y'all fascinate me. Kev, now is tonight your last day?
Officially.
Relax. Relax. Not your last day. But you're, until the holidays.
Yeah, take a little holiday break. Call me vacation man.
Sorry, folks. You're stuck with me for the week. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll do this again later this week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And until then, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine, OGW Energy Resources, and Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. We got the Buckeye Roundtable coming up next on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Go Bucks.
WYNG 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state, based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create.